Hey guys, welcome to a special video. If I can talk properly today. Oh dear. Yeah.
Ooh,
So
he card reads good.
I can't read good. No, I wanted to do a special video. I'm hoping to try and do these at least once a month, just to give it a bit of a break from the usual reviews and the other retrospectives that I've been doing, and just chill, lay back, talk about a particular topic. And of course, as you've no doubt already seen, I'm joined today by my good friend Manny Cruz. Say hello. Or g'day, mate. How's it going?
Good day, mate. We're gonna throw some shrimp on the barbie. Oh, that's awful. It's
It's
terrible.
like Rocco's Modern Life. That sounds like you're trying to do Carlos. I can't pronounce his surname.
Carlos Alazraqui.
Al Saraki. Yep.
Or I could do what's his name? Tom Kenny. Hey, Rocco. I'm trying to do Heffron. It's terrible at it. Hey, Rock. Mr. Lawrence. Turn your page and wash your hands. So we're going to talk about Rocco's Modern Life now.
Yep, there we are. No. Today we actually look. I got this book by my sister on Christmas, and I thought great because I actually don't have the original copy. So what it is, it's the 100 Greatest Looney Tunes Cartoons. So there was a poll done. I don't know if it was Cartoon Brew that did that, but when Jerry was part of that, or when it was done. But anyway, there was a poll done, and among various experts and various fans, to determine what would be the top 100 greatest Looney Tunes. And of course, as with anything that's top whatever, there's always going to be someone like, oh, I wouldn't put that there. I wouldn't do this. I wouldn't do that. And, and I thought, let's take a look at this book and just, for the heck of it, just see whether we agree with some of these listings, whether we would replace it with something else. Just have a bit of fun with it. This is not going to be some deep review or analytical discussion or anything like that. This is just going to be completely for fun. But before we get into it, you read the book yourself. I know you haven't read some of the articles in there, but what do you think of the book in general?
It's a fascinating book. I have the original copy of it, but it's currently in storage, and I was trying to dig it out just now because I moved a few months ago, and I still haven't finished packing. Yay, being an adult! But I did skim through it. I loved the articles that were written, by Jerry Beck and Leonard Maltin and all the other animation historians, and some new information that I didn't get before. And for two of the cartoons in this list, which we'll get to, I was actually surprised that like an official WB sanctioned book or whatever actually acknowledge the existence of these two cartoons, which I'm talking about.
Yes.
But it's a really interesting read, and like you said, I have the list in front of me on my iPad, and I'm reading through it, and I'm like, a lot of these choices, I'm like, absolutely great choices. Some of them I'm like, and then you start thinking, like I would have put this one, I would have put that one, but I mean, overall, the list is pretty solid with a few that I'm kind of like, which we'll get to.
Oh, exactly right. And yeah, we'll definitely go through it from A to Z, or Z, translating it for you Americans.
A to Z, Australian A to Z.
That's right.
This is an empty can of Truly. Yes, I'm an alcoholic. No, I actually almost rarely drink alcohol. I'm over 21. In case anybody's, I don't know. You can tell from the grays.
Where's your ID? Shows your ID, and then they see all the scammers that they take a picture of it, and it's like, why is my identity stolen?
Who just opened up a bank account in I don't know, in
Chestle F Winkerdinks. I don't know. Some stupid name we came up with on the spot.
Rory B. Bellows.
There we are. There's a Simpsons reference for you. Yeah, indeed. So I reckon we just dive right in. And I do want to point out that even though, some of the choices I'll be like, I still love the articles that accompany the choices. So even if there's a cartoon you're not interested in, it's still a good read about said cartoon. And I also want to point out that this is the reprint that was done for the 80th celebration. And this is probably a really lazy reprint for two reasons. One, there were cartoons in here that were since restored, so they haven't updated some of the pictures to reflect the new restorations. Is it a deal breaker? No. it's just pointing out that they haven't done anything. But also in the end, someone's pointed out this out to me because they were given in the acknowledgements. I forgot the name here. I do apologize, but there was a name here that was misspelled, and he asked me to check if it's misspelt, and indeed it still was. So this was like a literal copy with a new cover. And of course, my Simpsons reference is going to have to be, but she's got a new hat. No, this is literally the cover is like the new hat. Everything in there,
But it's got a new cover.
exactly. But no, look, I actually didn't own a copy, so for me it doesn't matter. And I think if you do get a chance to get this book, I highly recommend it. It is a great book. But we're just gonna, for fun, just go through it. So I reckon we get right into it. Otherwise, it'll be like an hour of us talking about nothing or next to nothing. I mean, you got a foreword by Leonard Maltin in here, which again, I'm not going to read every single thing in here, because copyright,
Page one.
Page one. It was the best of times. It was the blurst.
It was the blurst of times. Stupid monkey.
That's right. But yeah, Jerry Beck explains in the beginning about how the book came to be and all that sort of stuff, and a bit of the history about the studio, which is great. This is actually a great primer, I find, for those who are new to Looney Tunes. It really is that good, like the origin of Looney Tunes. So that's pretty good. Then of course you got your episode list. So even if you don't want to, see, it's got here all the shorts in table of contents, but rather than having it just listed, I always like the touch of having them actually show the different screenshots, and then you can just go to the page itself. I thought that was pretty cool. So the first one is, I have to say it's A to Z, 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 Z.
From A to Z, 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 Z.
Man, I love Ralph Phillips. I'm actually looking forward to looking through stuff. The whole boyhood daydreaming thing, because I relate to that cartoon a lot. I actually did daydream a lot when I was in school. Would this be in the top 100? Yeah, that gets my thumbs up. It's a beautiful cartoon, very touching. And what do you think? Yay or nay?
I saw this one a lot. Or I was gonna throw in a wrestling reference. I could be like a Batista on SmackDown. It goes like that in Triple H Freaks. All right, for any wrestling fans out there. But anyway, I digress. A to Z. I'll play along. I saw this one a lot as a kid. I've always liked this one. Definitely a lot of. I would say this is one that a lot of non Looney Tune hardcore fans recognize. Thumbs up, definitely.
Yeah, definitely. Next one, Acrobatic Bunny, which was reviewed on my channel, because I will mention ones I've reviewed in case someone stumbles on this video without seeing my reviews, which I find I don't think it'll happen. But anyway, you never know. But yeah, Acrobatic Bunny, that one's a childhood favorite of mine, so nostalgia will play a part in adding it in. It is a fine McKimson. It is the best McKimson of the early period. Is Rebel Rabbit in here? I don't know.
Let's see. Rebel Rabbit. It is. Excuse me. Rebel. Well, I'll be. It is not on the list.
See, I would probably substitute Acrobatic.
I would substitute Rebel Rabbit
with that as a key one. But Acrobatic Bunny, very funny cartoon. Should it be on the list? Look, it's one of those debatable things. I'll allow it, kind of thing. It's sort of like, I'll allow it. Just put that in the middle. Yeah, it's a great cartoon. So look, I guess it's someone's 100. Ali Baba Bunny. This one actually has is actually quite unique for me, because that's the first and only time I've seen a Looney Tunes short in a cinema. They were playing in this old cinema, RoboCop of all things. So I wanted to see the screening of a 35mm print of RoboCop. And of course, they played this in a 35mm print beforehand, which is an amazing experience to look at. I think it's great. When I was younger, this may not be appropriate today, but I like the whole, a sun chop and all that. And this is one of the classic Chuck Jones, Daffy, and Bugs shorts of his pairings of his own version of Daffy. Should it be in there? I'd say there's a good case for it. What do you think?
Yeah, it belongs on the list. This is definitely one of the best Bugs, because I'm not a huge fan of the Jones Daffy, or especially as time went on, where that's all the only focus of Daffy's character was. I mean, fortunately now with the, like, for example, the new Looney Tune cartoons, they brought back some of the Clampett style of Daffy with more insanity. But I think this is a good display of Daffy's like greed and narcissism. Yeah, I love the Hassan Chop part. I like yeah, it's definitely one of the best cartoons of the 50s, and it's very well known. It belongs.
Yep. So thumbs up for that one. The Aristocats. Yeah, this one. I think it's a great cartoon. It's one of the better early Chucks when he finally discovered how to be funny, and a lot of people have seen this one because it's in the public domain, and the whole Meadows, Meadows. Yeah,
It's one of the best Mel Blanc voices ever.
exactly. It's a great ending, of course, Hubie and Birdie, and in it. So, does that belong on the list? I think it does. I think it can be justified to be in the top
I
100.
I think it also belongs to with the just how Jones was exploring with the background design of it. Like, let me. Oh, sorry, clicked on Acrobatic Bunny. Please, please get a special iPad 1. Your fingers are too fat. That's another Simpsons reference. Let's see. I just want to double check who did the background art for this. This was
Or I could just look at the book.
okay. So the layout artist was
John
John
McGrew.
McGrew
Yeah, I'm
and
thinking
Gene Fleury.
I've got a book here. Why am I not
Buy
looking at this
my
book?
book.
Why am I not looking at the book? It's got the info here. John McGrew. There we are.
Yeah, John. Well, he did the layouts, and Gene Fleury and Bernice Polifka. I probably said it wrong. They did the actual. They were the background artists for this one. But there's some really funky backgrounds in this one, but they work. And
Exactly.
you're thinking around this time. This is 1943. Jones already made the Dover Boys. He already made the. He was already past that hump. He did the Dover Boys. He did the Draft Horse. Super Rabbit was in the same year.
I think it
And
was the year
that's like I said,
after,
he was
44 off memory, but still, it's in there. And so, of course, I think, like I said, an argument can be made. Yep, top 100. I think an argument can be definitely made there. As is the next one. I mean, I just got to say the name, and already we're going to be silently putting our thumbs up. You ready for the name? Baby Bottleneck.
classic.
That's it. Like,
Did I review that one with? No, I gave you a little
tidbits.
opinion.
You gave me, but for some reason you gave me a rapping Ronnie mixtape.
Well, he says well a lot.
Me.
This is when I think of Powerhouse from Raymond Scott. This is the first cartoon I think of.
Yeah.
This is the babies on the conveyor belt, and then later on when a Porky's chasing Daffy, let go of my tail. I went to San Diego a few days ago. You know this, but I was out visiting a friend in California, and I was playing this game pickleball, which I never played before. It's like tennis, and
Pickle.
I hit the ball, pickle, and I hit the ball out. And of course, what did I say? That ball is out. OWT out. And the guy was like, OWT. I'm like, it's a Looney Tune cartoon. And he's like, okay.
Like,
but I always spell OWT thanks to this cartoon.
Yes, for sure. Now this one, I just love that as a whole. I'm gonna increase production by 1,000,000,000%. That's stupid.
It's
dog.
a Lulu.
It's amazing.
One of the best minor characters in Warner Brothers history.
Exactly. I know the next one you're gonna give a thumbs up, and that's Back Alley Uproar. See, if I'm doing my own personal favorite 100, I'd be putting Notes to You because of the nostalgic point of view. But Back Alley Uproar, I definitely do concede, is a better made cartoon out of those two, because this is a remake of Notes to You. But yeah, I think that belongs on the list. What do you think?
Definitely.
Back Alley Uproar? Yep.
I also would put Notes to You as a personal favorite because, again, nostalgia. It was one of the first cartoons I ever saw as a kid. I had it on a public domain tape. But also, that cartoon, Notes to You, is responsible for me being a musician in the first place. I think I've told you this before, but I copied the cat singing Figaro's aria from the Barber Seville. I did it in school as a kindergarten. I'm going, Figaro, Figaro, and in my head thinking that, somebody's throwing pots and pans at me. And my teacher thought that I was making fun of opera. I was like, no, I'm just imitating what I saw in a cartoon. And then a few months later, I sing in public for the first time. And almost 30 years later, I'm doing music. And it wasn't until a few years ago that I made that connection. I was rewatching Notes to You. And I'm like, that's where I got the whole Figaro thing from. Because I remember watching that cartoon religiously as a kid on a videotape. And Back Alley Uproar, there's some, obviously, Frizz's timing got better. Sylvester's always a great character to work with, and it's tough because yeah, you could admit Back Alley Oprah is the better made cartoon, and
Yeah,
obviously it's in color, it's more interesting. But yeah, you know what? It belongs on a list. It's
yeah,
definitely. I love
exactly.
musical shorts. It belongs in a list.
Exactly right. And the next one, of course, is the one we reviewed
Uh
together, Baseball Bugs, where he says, they quoted it on the book, and I quote, watch me paste this pathetic palooka with a powerful, paralyzing, perfect pachydermis percussion pitch. There we go. I love it.
Very good.
And I'll point out, look, I love the way the book's laid out. I mean, again, even if you don't agree with some of the entries, like, the book is beautiful. Like, I want to see this kind of book, and I know Jerry Bick has said as such, he wants to do something like that, but I would like to see a multi-volume series where every Looney Tunes, yes, even Gone to Heaven on a Mule, yes, even that one,
Even Tokyo Jokyo, you know.
every single one, and yes, Engine Trouble, both of them, the gets like at least a double page spread, and maybe some of them for the more important ones, maybe 4 pages. I
Yeah.
mean, how great would that be? But Baseball Bugs, what is to say about there? I mean, I've since learned in baseball, you have your conga lines, which hey, once I come to America, I want to see those beautiful conga lines. And I just realized in the conga line as well, like, are there too many players on the field, like, anyway,
Yeah.
doing the conga
Yeah. Well, there's supposed to be 9 players on the field, but during that part, there's definitely more than 9
all the
players.
lines, like maybe reserves, or I don't know, something like,
Yeah,
or
you got the
entire
bench
plays.
coming out.
Exactly, that's what I'm thinking. But yeah, Baseball Bugs. Oh, there's no question that belongs on the list. Thumbs up for me.
It is one of my absolute favorite Warner Brothers shorts of all time. I saw it a lot as a kid. I still love it as an adult. I do like baseball, so I really get a kick out of it. And it holds a special place in my heart because when I first got into this hobby of collecting the cartoons and researching them, whatever, when I started, I said, I'm going to record all the cartoons that they have on Cartoon Network. This was around 2001 when I started. And what was the first cartoon I recorded off of Cartoon Network? Was Baseball Bugs.
Yeah,
And what a way to start. An absolute
exactly.
classic. One of my
Yep.
it's in my top 10. That's how
Yep,
much I love
and
it.
that's the very first restored cartoon we've ever seen, because that's literally cartoon number one in the Looney Tunes Golden Collection. And again, what a way to start! It's a
Yep.
I never grew up with it. I actually discovered it as an adult. So for me, seeing it, I was like, wow, how did I miss this
Well,
cartoon? This is
yeah.
fantastic.
Well, I saw plenty as a kid, and you were missing out.
Yeah, I mean, this one here, A Bear for Punishment, and I tell you, this cartoon is so much more funnier as a dad. I recently did a recording for the review at the time of this recording for this video, with SC McPeter. We did the Bee Devil Bruin, which is another three bears short, which is hilarious, right? But I don't think any of them are going to match the Bear for Punishment, because being a dad is like, whenever it's Father's Day here, it's like, I know, Father's Day. So I'm trying to do my deep voice. It's like, I know, Father's Day. I try.
I
Oh, I'm doing good for my paw. GUNPOWER, tobacco. I'm a good speller, I am. And that'll be my thumbnail, some stupid, like, frame. But no, this one's definitely on the list for me. It's not only one of my favorite shorts ever, but it's for me, it's the best of the Three Bears, in my opinion, at least. I mean, what do you think?
what was it? Yeah, this was the last Three Bear
Last
short. I
one.
wish
Yep.
Jones made more. And I like all the Three Bear shorts: Bare Feet, the Bee Devil Bruin, What's Bruin, Bugs Bunny and the Three Bears. Wow, I'm remembering off the top of my head. But
Yeah,
this was
that's
like the
all of them, I
best
think.
way to
Yeah.
Yeah, and this was definitely a good way to end it. You know, the poetry that Junior My Paw by Junior Bear, age 7.5. I think I've actually spoken to my dad like that at one time, and he knows, that I love Looney Tunes, so he gets a joke. And
My paw. Like,
my paw, and the final scene with Three Cheers for Father, with I love, especially the part where Mama Bear is like
does the dance.
doing, like, her dancing. I don't know who did the animation for that scene, but it's like she's such a stiff, awkward character, but seeing her do that choreography is absolutely hilarious.
Yep.
And yeah, I wish Jones made more Three Bear shorts in general.
Yeah, but at least the ones he did make, they're all fantastic. And, that dance, and I will put this out in the review once I get to it, because I'm looking forward to that one. Her dancing is perhaps the most liveliest I've ever seen the character in all 5 shorts. So, and
I had to
uh,
get something to drink. Sorry.
that's right, that's right. Talking makes me thirsty. So the next one, all right, the big snooze. I'm going to say this, and this one's probably going to give me some hatred for it. Okay,
Uh-oh.
the big snooze, I enjoy it, right? But it is also an uneven mess because Clamper didn't finish it, and you can tell there was stuff cut out and redone, and because Clamper's not even credited on this one, and I don't know. I think that some of the earlier, so like some of the other Clampets that maybe aren't in this book, and we'll find it later on, could be a better candidate than Big Snooze, which was really just a patch up job in the end. I reckon like 80% of it was probably done, and then I think it was Art Davis or whoever finished it. And like, I don't think it's in the top 100 for me. Despite there being some amazing animation and some really surreal backgrounds and that. So there's amazing stuff in it, but yeah, I can't really agree too much on Big Snooze. I mean, what do you think? And feel free to disagree.
This is tough because I get your points. This one I think might hit me more with the nostalgia because I saw this one a lot as a kid on TV. And I still enjoy it. I still think it was a great
Hmm.
send off for Clampett's career, even though he didn't officially finish the whole thing. I love some of the singing in it, this whole surreal thing with Bugs just completely psychologically torturing Elmer, and the animation in those scenes are great. This is tough. I think it belongs on the list, but if something were to substitute it, I wouldn't complain.
Yeah, I think that it just, something like, is TikTok Tucket in the book? No. So, see, I would even put TikTok Tucket in place of that. Yeah, and that's sort of one. But again, look, and like I said, I actually do like the Big Snooze. I think it's a great short. But you can tell it's a bit of a patchwork cartoon, and it's a bit of a mess as a result. I think it's not as sharply focused as the Clampet's actual last one that he fully did. The Great Piggy Bank Robbery. But anyway, that's again, we can all agree and disagree on certain things. And I suppose people watching will be like, you anyway, whatever. Birds Anonymous is the next one. Boy, oh boy, I like that one. And, look, it's probably not my favorite. If I did it my own top 100, this may, I don't know if it'll slip on the list. If it did, it'd be sort of lower on the list, I'd say, of the top 100. But no, I think it belongs on there. It's it's a solid cartoon, and it's sort of like, I'm not, dealing with, addiction, which is clearly what they were going through there, like Days of Wine and Roses and all that. So, I mean, what do you think? I mean, I think it does. I think it can stay on there. It's an important one. What do you think?
I think it belongs on the list. I've said it before that I'm not the biggest fan of the Sylvester and Tweety series, but I think this one was done well. I think it did deserve the Oscar win it got in was it 1957, if I'm not mistaken. And I
I've
do
got a
like
book to
some.
read.
Oh, look at that! Look, ain't that? And I have an iPad to click on. But
Another Simpsons reference. Another Simpsons reference. Better keep the egghead. He might prove useful.
but but I do like some of the shorts that kind of because me and you and other Looney Tune nerds, like, we have to remind people that these were shown on television nonstop from the 50s until now, and people think they're for kids, but like, oh, woo, excuse me, my dinner's coming back to haunt me. But I do like that it's tackling a very serious subject, about alcohol
Hmm.
addiction or any addiction at all, and like it, like, as an adult you appreciate it more. See,
Excuse
I
me.
burp and now you cough. And
That's right. And I drink.
yes. But it delves into a more serious subject, and as an adult you appreciate it more.
Yeah,
It belongs in the list. I mean, it's not one of my go-to shorts, but it has its merits.
exactly. But we both will agree on book review. I mean, it's like already. Yep, thumbs up. No,
Yeah,
like
book review. I love book review.
I mean, obviously for you, the music is there, but all the references to stars long since past, the animation, I mean, what can you say? Like
The energy.
the Danny Kaye thing. I mean,
Yeah.
what else can we say? I mean, it's easily the best of the whole items or books coming to life series that
Hmm.
was done up until that point. It's fantastic, and which me and you, of course, did that wonderful review on. So, but no, it definitely belongs on the list. I mean, I'm sure you agree. It's definitely in there.
One of the best the studio ever made.
Exactly. Yeah. So there's no question there. And next one is Buccaneer Bunny, and already, yeah, thumbs up. That this
Thumbs up.
I
Yep.
did that one with Matt Hunter. Hi, Matt. G'day,
Hi,
Matt.
Matt.
How's it going, Matt? And and yeah, we both agree that one is just what's not to like about it. I mean, like, especially that stupid rowboat joke where Sam swims over to get the oars to go back to yeah, all stupid things. And Frizz would repeat a lot of those jokes here and there. In some of the later Sylvester, sorry, not Sylvester, Sylvester, Yosemite Sam, if I can talk right today, cartoons. But you know what? This cartoon's one of the best. Yeah, thumbs up, I think. So, moving right along, Bugs and Thugs. So, this one is one of Frizz's later ones. And what's interesting about this one, and again, I'm not going to get too deep because we're not reviewing these really, but this one is one of Frizz's last ones in the 60s, I believe, from the studio. I think it was like 1960.
1954. I looked into it because I
Unless,
actually had to review. You might be thinking of the like I don't know 60s.
yes,
I'm
I am.
thinking of
Sorry.
the
Yep. Okay.
I'm thinking of the Unmentionables or something like that. That's what I think you're
Edit
thinking of.
this out. Edit this out. I don't want to look stupid. No. Okay. I mixed it up. But he really did do one, and this is the one I'm thinking of. He actually did one in the '60s where it's one of his last few shorts for Warner's before he went to Hanna-Barbera, and it was fantastic. But no. Okay, I'm mixing them up there. But see, I can make mistakes. Your God is not infallible. Anyway,
You know what? I will say this thing. I do like Bugs and Thugs. I mean, the whole, oh, he's hiding in the stove, eh? I do love that sequence. I'm looking at the list, and I don't want to say a substitution, but a cartoon that's in a similar vein that I believe belongs on this list, Racketeer Rabbit.
because this is basically a remake, and looking at the
Yeah,
list, Racketeer Rabbit again, nostalgia wise, I prefer that one because I grew up with it, right?
same here.
But again, I guess I got to rewatch Bugs and Thugs. I haven't actually watched that one in ages, to be completely honest, because there'll be probably a few in here which I don't know enough about to say whether it warrants to be being in the book or not. So I'll
Yeah,
give it sort of like this for now because I honestly
yeah.
don't know. Um,
And really, the only scene that I remember super well is that one with Bugs imitating the cop. And, oh, he's hiding in the stove, and then the actual, cop comes in. But yeah, this isn't. I mean, off the top of my head, it's a really good short. I personally like Racketeer Rabbit better. But again, yeah, we'll go with that. Like it's like in football, upon further review of the play. But it's
bingo.
it's definitely a good one there.
Exactly right. So Bugs Bunny gets the Boyd. Now, admittedly, I'm not in terms of Clampett shorts. This one, I mean, is not among my personal favorites, but I could see why some people like that one, and I could see a good enough argument for why that should be on the list because of because of the buzzard. So, I mean, what do you think? I mean, I think it could stay on the list, but what do you think?
Oh, yep. I think it belongs on the list.
Yeah.
I speaking of Clampett shorts, me personally, I don't see it on the list, but I instead of Bugs Bunny gets the Boyd, I don't know. It's tough because it's a really good short. It's a really good introduction for a Beaky Buzzard. Excuse me. It's very funny. The but it's not a Beaky short. But what I personally would put over this one, and it might be that darn nostalgia talking again, is an Iction Time from
Okay.
around that same time period, 42, 43. But this is definitely the best Beaky Buzzard cartoon.
Yeah.
Bashful Buzzard's really good, but I think this one squeaks over this one.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I mean, the next one, I guess, is one of the more overplayed shorts, which is Bully for Bugs. But
It's
I think
amazing.
I think it's a solid short. I think it's really fun.
Yeah.
I can't wait to tackle that one. And of course, you realize this means war. And if anyone thinks Bugs Bunny, they think, yeah, Bully for Bugs is definitely one of them that they will think of. And The bull's
Bum, bum, bum,
incredible.
bum, 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 bum.
Hmm.
I love that scene.
Yes, I can't wait to get into that one. But no, that belongs to the list. Thumbs up. That gets a thumbs up from me. There's no question there. Bunny Hugged is interesting because some have said that one's really good.
Mm.
Like, and yet I prefer Rabbit Punch. That's just again, I'm not. it's one of those things where I'm not, angry. I don't know why one would be angry at this sort of thing, but angry. Bunny Hugged. What but I would personally substitute Rabbit Punch for Bunny Hugged personally. But again, A, that part of it could be nostalgia, and B, I don't know. I just thought it was funnier. That's just me. Bunny Hugg's funny, but I know you might beg to differ because I know you like your wrestling. So
Well, I will say the cartoon came out on my birthday. Well, 37 years before I was born, March 10th, 1951. Woo! But that's besides the point. I'm going to agree with you. I like Rabbit Punch better than this one. And I'm not a fan of boxing. I do like professional wrestling. And now as I've been, you know, as I've gotten old, I realize, oh, Ravishing Ronald is imitating Gorgeous George, who was the biggest heel of wrestling at that time period. The Nature Boy, Gorgeous George. Was he the Nature Boy? Well, it was the Nature Boy, Buddy Rogers, and now it's the Nature Boy, Ric Flair. But yeah, like the epitome, like the beginning of the foppish heel in wrestling that Gorgeous George, who Ravishing Around was making fun of, would come out with like these robes and come out with perfume, and he in wrestling we say that he generated a lot of heat, a lot of anger and animosity from the fans. And again, from a fan of wrestling, I should like this one more, but I got to give it to Rabbit Punch. I think the jokes are better, and it's that darn nostalgia because I've said in some of the commentaries that I lean more towards the pre 48 package
mm,
because it's what I saw more of on TBS and TNT. And then obviously on Nickelodeon, I saw a lot of the black and white shorts and things like that. So I didn't get overexposed to these as much as other people. But I mean, it's still a really good short. I love wrestling. It's really funny, and I
uh,
looked, Rabbit Punch is not on this list. I would substitute it.
yeah. But am I angry about Bunny Hug being on there? No, it's fine. So thumbs up. It's fine. I don't have a problem. Now, Canned
Same.
Feud, I never saw much of at all. In fact, I only saw it on the actual Golden Collection, so I'm going off memory here. But I know that this involves, of course, Sylvester being left alone or something, and he needs a can opener to,
Hmm.
open up cans or whatever. And from what I remember, this one was pretty darn funny. It's a simple idea, and I quite like it. I mean, should it be on the list? Pending review, I would say, compared to the other ones. But what do you think?
Saw this one. I think I saw it on Nickelodeon growing up, and I always got a big kick out of it. It's been a while. I know this is coming up soon in your reviews. It's 1951. I always thought it was really funny, but I, I'm gonna have to go. Same thing. It's been a while. Let me get back to you. More than likely, I'm gonna say it belongs in the list, but I don't want to jump to
Yeah,
conclusions. Now, the next one definitely
yes, exactly
will.
right. I mean,
Yeah,
because with Canned Feud, I will say one thing. It's one which has an excellent idea. I just have to re-watch it just to check the execution. That's all it is. But next one, yeah, there's no question. Chowhound, thumbs up. That's got to be on the
thumbs
list.
up.
Of course, it's like a don't forget the gravy, which, of course, I mean, Eric Goldberg himself has said that that's what they would say at his household, and weirdly enough, that's what we sometimes say. It's like, don't forget the gravy when we're going out to get some KFC for dinner. Yes, we have KFC in Australia. So, um, but no, there's no question about that. Chowhound, definitely there. Moving on to the next one, which is Cinderella meets Fowler, and don't let the screenshots in the book fool you. It's been restored and it looks absolutely amazing. And this is a classic Tex Avery fairy tale send up. I think it deserves to be in the book, even if it's not. I suppose my go-to short, as we've been saying for some of these, it's still one that belongs to the top 100. I mean, what do you think? Thumbs up for me.
The restoration looks beautiful, and I actually, for Valentine's Day, I made a list of cartoons to watch, and this was on the list. It's really, really charming. It belongs on a list. I sometimes feel, and again, this is my bias, that if you look up like lists of the greatest Looney Tunes shorts or whatever, there is a lot of bias, in my opinion, towards the post 48 package. There's a lot of charming cartoons from the 30s and 40s that belong on the list, and this one's what 1938. It's weird because I know Avery did not like fuzzy bunnies or fuzzy wuzzies, as he would call like the really sentimental Disney ones. But I think this one is genuinely sweet, but it still has a lot of Tex Avery jokes and humor. Like I love when the fairy godmother pulls out the bottle of I forgot what type of alcohol she has, and like you can tell, like yeah, this woman's a mess. She's an alcoholic, whatever. Or like she turns the Cinderella's carriage into like a midwestern horse carriage, and there's like a lot of clever jokes. I always get a kick out of depends on who you ask, Elmer or Egghead or who the Avery character with the big nose, because
Yeah,
I know someone's going to yell at me if I say whatever name. For me, I know that that's technically Elmer Fudd's evolution, but I just call him Egghead for the sake of
yeah,
easiness.
it's Egghead.
But yeah, especially that recent restoration. Oh, it looks so gorgeous
It
now,
does. It does
and
indeed.
it's a sweet cartoon. I really like it.
Exactly right.
Thumbs up.
Now, the next one, Coal Black. Look, first of all, we're not going to get into the whole racial part because we've said that time and time again. This is all about should this be in the book or not, and I actually say no, and not because of the racial parts, but I think if you're looking at it just as a parody of Snow White, it actually is very dated because it's more about the war references of the time, and it doesn't feel timeless like, say, Snow White or a parody at the time. And I don't know, it just like there's some beautiful animation in there, especially by Rod Scribner towards the end with the Prince's Kiss and all that, But is it important because it featured black musicians and all that sort of stuff? Yes, but just because something is important, and I must stress this in the book, just because something is important does not necessarily mean it's one of the greatest. I think this book has mixed up a few of them, which we'll get to. And no, I don't think Coal Black belongs in the top 100. No, no way. That's my opinion. What do you think?
Yep, I've seen Coal Black tons of times. Would I love to see this cartoon restored? Absolutely. Do I feel that this cartoon needs to be presented with its proper historical context? Absolutely. Just like last year or 2 years ago with the whole controversy with Gone with the Wind, and on HBO Max they had a film historian properly introduce it, and I'm like, do that with problematic shorts. I think that that would be a great way. Not, don't put them on HBO Max, but let's say like the Warner Archive could release a
Hmm.
set with having a historian, or people like Jerry Beck, or discussing the shorts with their proper context, as well as bringing in film historians, and also especially film historians of black professors. I know like Christopher Lehman, who wrote a book about that topic, and I forgot the name of the lady who did the introduction for Gone with the Wind. But getting back to the cartoon itself, I don't get the hype.
Yeah.
Absolutely really cool animation. Like Rod Scribner is just going on, he's firing on all cylinders in some of the scenes, and it's really cool to look at, especially if you are an aspiring animator. And again, we could spend literally hours talking about the baggage of not only the black stereotypes, but a lot of the World War II jokes that a unless you're a history buff, you won't get them, and b, some of the other jokes at the expense of dwarves and at the expense of the Japanese, who I understand at the time we were in conflict with them during that war. And it was great that Bob Clampett was trying to push for black musicians to be on the cartoon. I think the only ones that performed were the drummer and the trumpet player at the end, when Prince Charming, or
Hmm.
Charmin, stereotypical speech pattern, um, when he was trying to revive So White. But and this is the one I was mentioning before this, and later on we'll talk about Tim Pan Alley Cats. That I'm happy that they acknowledge that this short exists, and if I remember correctly from reading the book, it said that there is no official way to see this cartoon. And again, I understand the reasons why this cartoon should not be put out on a proper release, and I also
Hmm.
understand the reasons why it should.
Yeah.
And obviously, I lean more towards, it would be great to see this properly restored. I know that 10, 11 years ago, they did a screening. I think it was TMC that they did a screening of 8 out of the 11 Central 11 shorts. And it was introduced by, historians and whatever. Again, proper context.
Exactly.
But long story short, it's tough because could you say it's the best of the Central 11? Arguably, you could say it is.
Hmm.
But I've never understood the hype. I
Yeah.
don't know. And it's
It doesn't
not
do much for me.
just because of the stereotypes. Because yeah, that definitely makes it abrasive. But I don't get it. So me
Nah.
personally,
Yeah, I
no.
wouldn't have it in there, but for that reason. But moving on to one that should be definitely on the list is a Corny Concerto, which is a beautiful Fantasia parody, and of course, you as a musician, no doubt love
Yep.
this cartoon, and yeah, definitely belongs in the list. So thumbs up there. It is hilarious, and I like how Clampett somehow made two shorts within a short with bookends. It's amazing how, and yet it feels like a full cartoons. It's incredible how he does it. I don't know. No, that definitely needs to be on there. Any quick thoughts
I
on
was
that one?
I will say, I told you this before, but I sing, I told you that this, but for those that are listening, I sing at a church every Thursday and Sunday. I'm a church on the staff because I'm one of the musicians on there. And in rehearsal, we sang a piece of music. We did really well. And at the end of it, I just said, "Wasn't that lovely?"
Yes.
And I got it exactly from this cartoon. I said it a few times in rehearsal, and the guy sitting next to me, he's like, "Oh, I didn't know Elmer Fudd was here." I was like, "Yeah, this music was really lovely." And the woodwinds roll around and around, and
Wound.
it comes out here. But yeah, this is definitely one of the
Yeah,
best. Yeah, great cartoon, and I'm a sucker for musical shorts.
of
So
course.
yeah,
Now the next one is Deduce You Say, which is a classic Chuck Jones Daffy short, and yeah, I think this belongs on there. I think it's funny. It's like what's your name? Slopshire Slasher. What's your profession? Slopshire Slasher.
Slopshire Slasher.
Gee, you sound like Arnold then.
Get out of here! I'm going to slash you.
Deduce You Say. Yeah, I can't even do what you can. But no, this one's great. This one's classic Chuck Jones short. Witty dialogue by of course Malcolm Maltese and strong direction. It's just I thumbs up. Deduce You Say is fantastic. Let's have a look because we'll probably be here all day if we keep. We're not going to go too fast. We're not going to go too slow. So moving on to Dog Gone South, which might have some problems now because the whole Confederacy part of it and the romanticized version of the South, blah blah blah, which we'll discuss anyway. But you got to still love the whole "Oh Belvedere," you know. It's a classic. Is it top 100 material?
I
Ah,
don't think so,
I
but I have to rewatch it. It's been a while since I've seen it, but I do like Charlie Dog.
yeah.
I've always liked that character.
I mean, is there any other Charlie Dog shorts on the list?
I don't think so. I really like the Awful Orphan.
Yeah, because because Awful Orphan, which because it passed the A's, we know it's not on here. I probably would substitute that. So yeah, I think Dog on South maybe replace with Awful Orphan. And again, it's not because of the whole South thing. I just think it's a funnier
Awful Orphan
cartoon.
is a better short, in my opinion.
Yeah. Next one is Dog Pounded, which features that because unfortunately some of the Sylvesters do blur my mind of where they come from because a lot of them really are the same, which I'm sure
Same.
I see that you agree with me. I'm not nodding. It's just sorry, another Simpsons reference. But no, this is the one where you got that one shot of all the bulldogs in the backyard. I think this is the one. I think
To be honest, I have to double check. It's because I'm trying to think. I'm pretty sure it's the one I'm thinking of.
it is. It is. I'm just reading it, reminding myself of it. Yeah, that's the one. So this is the one with the seemingly 100 bulldogs, and he's like at the dog pounds, and he's trying to get through. Simple idea. Sylvester trying to obviously get Tweety, but Tweety's in this tree and has got all these bulldogs around, and it's a great setup. And of course, Pepper Le Pew makes a cameo in this one too, which is nice. So should it be on there? You know what? Yeah, maybe. I'm pending.
Pending, I have to rewatch it. It's been a while since I've seen it.
Next one, thumbs up. Do Re Meow, my favorite Looney Tunes of all time. No ifs, no buts. That's my favorite, and it belongs on there. Da Louie.
Absolutely terrible shorted. I'm kidding. I don't want to.
That'll be
It
fun
is
now.
it.
I like that. Yeah. Oh.
It is definitely one of the best shorts. It's probably the best Arthur Davis short he ever made. I would say this and Bowery Bugs,
Yep.
which Bowery Bugs is not on the list, sadly, but it's definitely is and it's a hilarious short. Loey, I'm only 3. Oh,
Yeah,
you was right, Loey. I'm
breathe,
4.
stupid. Breathe. You got the. You can
Breathe,
forgot.
stupid.
You forgot to breathe again.
I've always
Oh, gee,
wanted to
that's
say
better.
that as a singer. I've always wanted somebody to say that to me. If I'm not breathing in a part where I'm singing, breathe, stupid, breathe.
You forgot to breathe again. And he goes, "Oh, I fell down, Louis." It's just like it's so
He's
just
so stupid, but it's
chef's kiss.
I'm going to be watching birthday related cartoons on my birthday, which is coming up soon, and this is definitely on the list.
Oh
You
yes,
what's because I'm going to turn 34, but I'm going to be like, you was right. I'm 34.
yes. And next cartoon, yeah, Dover Boys definitely belongs up there. And this is one of those cases
Mhm.
where not only is it an important short for many, many, many reasons, the whole so-called limited animation or controlled animation, whatever you want to call it, and
The UPA style.
UPA style and all that sort of stuff. But it's also a darn funny cartoon. It's just incredible. And of course, it's a shame that Schlesinger said, don't make this type of cartoon again. But no, this belongs on the list. There's no question about it. I mean, I'm sure you agree with that.
A roundabout. I'll steal it. No one will ever know.
Mm.
That and just hit. Oh, what's the name of the villain? I'm blanking on his name. But just
Dan Black backslide.
unhindered damn backslide. Yeah, there you go. But just that and Con found them. I wish I was in the room to see Mel Blanc deliver those lines.
Yeah, it's amazing. We could go on for that for ages, and it's
Oh,
right.
I love her. Father's money. Oh, it is great. It belongs on the list. Yeah.
Definitely. Drafty Daffy's next, and
Oh, big thumbs up.
Yeah, and an argument definitely can be made for that. I mean, look, just because something's war themed, and I know some people might think, "Oh, did you not click Cold Black because it's a war related one?" No, that's not it. It's just I thought it was average, and I could hear some people going boo, but no. Drafty Daffy, yes, 100% belongs in there. It's the one of the
Yes.
wildest. What's all the hubbub, bub?
Bub. Well, now I wouldn't say that. I mean, the little man from the draft board, he's one of those characters, one and done, but wish you would have seen him in more shorts.
Exactly.
I think he would have been a good antagonist for other Daffy scenarios.
It could well be that maybe Daffy's selected for jury duty, and he's trying to get him to go to stuff like that. But anyway, moving right along. Or riding along, I should say, to Drip Along Daffy. See, I'm trying to be more clever than what I actually am. This one, yes. Yeah, this gets a thumbs up because it's a very popular one. But of course, just because something is popular doesn't mean it's any good. But this one is a classic, and it's a classic for good reason. It's a hilarious setup of the Western films at the time, and like with Daffy, and Western type hero and comedy relief, and oh boy, I can't wait to get to that one. I can't wait.
Yeah, I definitely like it. I mean, I know that my favorite character gets a bum rap, but I'm happy that Jones took Porky in this direction, and he made him, comedy relief, but he also made him like the hero of the story in some ways. At the end of the cartoon, Porky becomes a sheriff, and I loved when Daffy makes himself like an idiot, like in the Deuce he says, and Drip Along Daffy and my Duckaroo, my little Duckaroo. But I like that dynamic. Daffy is way too in over his head, and Porky's just there, like, hey guys, I'm here, and he went and he saves the day, and tons of great lines, and it popped in my head, but I just absolutely love when Nasty Canasta drinks the drink, and he go gurgle, 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 gurgle. That sound effect right there cracks me up. I'm only it was just, and when they turn into little kids, like think Porky's like,
Mary had it. Mary
Mary had
had
a
it.
winner
You yeah,
wham.
like that. It's just a. But I like how. I'll point out one small thing before we move on. When I saw that drink as a kid, I actually wanted to drink it. It looks so good. All these different looking flavors. I thought, where can I get this drink? But anyway, that's a.
And you should go around quoting Mary Had a Little Lamb as a little kid. Just don't
Well,
do it in front
Mary
of your
had it.
family.
Yeah.
The kids will be like, "Daddy, are you okay?"
Oh, of course. And the next one, of course, Duck and Muck. I mean, yeah, of course, that's got
Yeah.
to be on there. There's no, again, yes, it might be, I guess, overplayed. Some might say, it's such a good short. Like, it's so
Hmm.
good. It's it's a masterpiece. One can use the word masterpiece for that. It's just fantastic. So I don't think there's too much to say at this stage. I think we'll save that one for the review because we
Yeah,
definitely agree.
it's yeah. You pretty much nailed it. It belongs in the list. It's groundbreaking, and it's one of those cartoons where you're like, just watch it and see how well it works.
Exactly right. And the next one, honestly, I would substitute Duck Dodgers in the 24th hour. I would actually substitute that for the Return of Duck Dodgers, the one he made in 1980, that sequel. No, I kidding.
Uh-oh.
No.
Start typing your angry comments now.
Ah. Um,
Like
no,
the
no,
cat typing on the keyboard.
no. Duck Dodgers is a masterpiece again, just like Duck and Mark. It
Yes.
belongs on there. There's no question there. The sequel is for me more fascinating. If you go on Cartoon Research, they've shown the original Michael Maltese draft, and you know, and you can see how it would have been, and then Chuck just disregarded it and made his own version, and then still credited Michael Maltese anyway, and Maltese died not long after. Interesting. Now, and the next one, Duck, Rabbit, Duck. I mean, yeah, that has to be on there. It's iconic. And again, even if you're not a fan of this Daffy, it's still darn funny short. I mean, of course, it's going to be on the list. There's no question. I mean, about it. But I wonder if they actually have all three of the Hunting trilogy on there. See, that
I
would
looked
be.
it up.
Yep.
The only one, excuse me, that's not on the list is Rapid Fire, the first one. And me personally, oh, excuse me, man, my dinner's really coming back to haunt me. I wouldn't have put. It's tough because I do like this short. All three of the Hunting trilogy cartoons are great, and shoot me, I'm an elk, Where it's baseball season, I have to rewatch all three to pick which one is my personal favorite. It's either Duck Rabbit Duck or Rabbit Seasoning. But another part of me is like, did we have to put 2 out of the 3 in this one? Because two
Yeah.
out of three ain't bad. Rest in peace, Meatloaf. But yeah, what do you think? Because I think that they should
I,
have
I,
chose one of the
I think
Hunters
the
trilogy.
first.
Or
I think the first one they should have just chosen just one, and that's it. As a
yeah,
representative of the Hunter trilogy, the first one, because that was the first time you see the different Daffy. Yes, there was a
yeah.
few shorts leading up. Oh, we can get into that, all day. But that was like the first definitive thing, and also what edges that one for me as well is the whole Mel Blanc playing Daffy impersonating Bugs and vice versa. So
Oh, that's impressive. Yeah,
so
it
that
gets me every time.
tips it over the edge for me. So look, is it a bad choice? No, but
No,
yeah, again, I think having the first one should be in there. The next one, Easter Eggs, which is the 500th Looney Tunes, a bit of trilogy, and I did that one with the wonderful Keith Scott. I mean, seriously, if you get a chance to talk with him, you know, about anything animation related or comedy, and that, it's a fantastic guy. Yeah, what is to say about Easter Eggs? And that's also the first time Kimson did Elmer, and I think it belongs on the list because you got the they keep smiling, the you got the bunny, like it's such a fantastic
every
thing.
every year I get some dumb bunny to do my job. I do that. I sometimes do the. I know he's based off a radio character. I forgot his name, but I do that laugh like in a mocking fashion, and of course nobody knows that I'm
Mm.
imitating Easter eggs. It is one of my favorite Bugs Bunny shorts. I watch it almost every year during Easter. Um, I I don't know if I would put it in my top 10, but it's definitely like my top 20 of Warner Brothers shorts.
Yeah,
And it's good advice. Keep smiling. That's what I tell myself when I drive to work
yeah,
every day.
that's right. Exactly. And the next one, eating on the cuff. This is one of those in the list where one can make an argument for or against it. Which of course this is Clappett's last black and white short. You know, I don't have a problem with it being on the list. It is a great cartoon, and of course, it features, the comedian in the beginning. I forgot his name off the top of my head.
Leo White, I think.
Leo White, something like that. Yeah, and let me put it this way: I'm not angry that it's on the list, but if it wasn't on the list, I wouldn't be disappointed. If that makes sense. So it's a great short, but if I really sat down and think about it, I could maybe think of a different one to replace it. But as it is, I'm cool with it. What do you think?
I like the short. I don't go as crazy for it as some other people do. It's tough. I wouldn't put it on the list personally. I think there's other. Well, there is a black and white short that I'm thinking of right now. It's not a Clampett short, but I think belongs on this list more than this one. But it's a good short.
Yeah,
I don't go. I never went super crazy over it. Yeah, it was Leo White. I'm looking at it right now. That's the name of the actor, and Mel Blanc did his voice. And I might as well say it now. But the short that as a black and white one that I would put over this, and Austin Kelly, this is for you, my friend. The Case of the Stuttering Pig,
yeah,
Tashlin. I've said it a billion times. It is one of my personal favorite Warner Brothers shorts. I do like some of like I was saying before, Birds Anonymous that tackle more adult issues, and even another cartoon that's not on this list that I'm not a huge fan of, Nelly's Folly, which is another one that tackles a very
mm,
adult subject, and I like those shorts that go towards that territory more in some ways. But yeah, I would take this one out, and I would put Case of the Stuttering Pig in
yeah.
over this one.
I would either do that or Porky's Double Trouble, something like that. Anyway,
Yeah.
they're all great. But anyway, next one I think we can agree should be perhaps in the top 100. Eight Ball Bunny. Again, this is not one of my go-to shorts, but I can see why a lot of people love this one. It's such a charming, little penguin, and
Playboy
ooh,
Penguin. He's
I'm
so cute.
dying. So yeah, all right, fine. It's on the list. I'll
it's it's up there, but I mean, I'm laughing because I every time that I have to drive to the city of Hoboken, because I live in New Jersey, and driving to Hoboken, the birthplace of Frank Sinatra, is a pain in the butt. And every time I'm sitting in the car, I go, Hoboken, ooh, I'm dying again, because that's how it feels like when you're driving up. Was it Route 1 and 9 to take the Pulaski Skyway to get there? And oh, I hate driving there.
Fair enough. Fair enough. So I guess instead of driving, you should do what Bugs does in the next short, falling hair, and I can take a plane.
Ah,
So this belongs in there. I mean, there's thumbs up already. Like,
absolutely.
there's no question.
Childhood favorite.
Robert McKimson. I mean, just about everyone's seen it as well because it's public domain. But um, I don't know if the sing-along version's any good. Hint, hey, blue genocide. When we look at that stupid thing. But no, that's definitely one that belongs on there. Just like Fast and Furious. Yeah, thumbs up there. I can't wait
Hmm.
to do the review with you and Matt Hunter. Spoiler alert. Yep, those are the two who are going to be on there with me. And yes, the review will be probably longer as a result, and for good
Yeah.
reason. Come on, first Roadrunner. And I maintain, I've said this before, Chuck Jones, even in his later shorts, where some people are like, another froggy evening, ugh, they think of all his later shorts and go, ugh. But I maintain that even his last Roadrunner short, he still did those the best, and I think this was his best creation. I maintain that. That's my opinion. So definitely belongs on the list. What do you think? Yeah? Fast and Furious?
I was as a kid, I was never the biggest fan of Wile E. Coyote and the Roadrunner cartoons. But as I've gotten older, I'm like, you know what? Give it as because I'm doing my own chronological watch. I'm finally almost done with the 1930s. I have 5 more to go. But I've always liked this one. I like the earlier designs, especially of the coyote, how he looks in this cartoon. And I know, like, as time went on, obviously because of budget cuts, whatever, that the backgrounds became more minimalistic. When like Maurice Noble was doing the layouts and all that. But I think this is a nice mix where it's like I like the design, especially the coyote. I love the jokes. I love the energy. You hear for the first time the dance of the comedians from the Bartered Bride. Ba-da-da, ba-da-da-da, when you hear the coyote, and it was a great, great introduction to these characters.
Mm,
And kind of like you said before, some like with Sylvester and Tweety, the Roadrunner and Wile E. Coyote shorts blur in my mind.
mm.
But I've always found this one really charming and a
Yeah.
great debut for these characters. So
Exactly
belongs on the
right.
list.
Exactly. The next one we can agree upon, which is feed the kitty. Of course, as you said, I mean, if you don't have a tissue at the end, then you have no soul, as far as I'm concerned. Um, so like it's such a sweet and charming thing, but unlike Jones's earlier shorts where it was like too sweet, this one has a nice balance of great gags, some
Hmm.
black humor even, and of course,
Yeah,
we think he thinks the kitty's being killed. But anyway, I think thumbs up, no question there. Um,
it is. I was rewatching it about a week or so ago a few times, and I was like tearing up almost every time near the end when Mark Anthony thinks that Pussyfoot was made into cookies, and it's just like it tugs at the heartstrings. If you don't get a little teary eyed or emotional, you don't have a soul at it. And
exactly.
as someone who has, it's funny. I have a dog, but my dog looks more like Pussyfoot than she does like Mark Anthony,
Mhm.
and it's just it's and I was telling somebody it's a great Valentine's Day cartoon in the sense that it's not just the love that you have for your partner, your boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, whatever. It's also the love that you have for your friends, that you have for your companions, and for you and I both have pets. It's just the love that you have for your pets. It is
Exactly right.
it is definitely one of the. I would put it like in a top 10 of Warner Brothers shorts ever made.
Yeah, well, it definitely belongs in the top 100 regardless anyway.
Yeah.
And speaking of pets, we got Gorilla My Dreams. I don't know if you've ever owned a gorilla. I mean, my wife would say she owns a gorilla, me. But no, Gorilla My Dreams, yep. I think that belongs on there. I think it's a solid early McKimson short, and it's a fantastic one. Especially when Mel Blanc does the voice of the mother. But I think
Oh, my baby doesn't love me.
yeah, exactly.
This
Uh,
this was
Thumbs
a
up. Yeah.
childhood favorite of mine. I loved it as a kid. I recently, again, I was watching some Valentine's Day cartoons, and I threw this one on the list because gotta love your mama.
Hmm.
And yeah, and one of my favorite musical scenes in Warner Brothers history is Bug singing "Someone's Rocking My Dreamboat" from this cartoon.
Hmm.
That and the conga that he's doing when he's kicking the coconut tree to hit Gruesome Gorilla in the head. Oh, and,
Hmm.
and of course Mel Blanc as I mean him as the mother gorilla and Bugs, but him as Gruesome Gorilla cracks me up every time. And a lot of
Exactly.
great Raymond Scott music in this one as well. I think dinner music
Exactly.
for a pack of hungry cannibals.
That's
Exactly.
it's the one. Great piggyback robbery. Well, that's got to be on there. Thumbs
Terrible.
up there. No, terrible. Yeah,
No.
of course. No, no. Masterpiece. The greatest. Clap it. But we'll move past that to another one. I mean, gruesome twosome. That should be on there as well. There's no question there. But the one here is guided muscle is the following one, and I'm not sure why this particular Looney Tunes, so this particular Roadrunner is the one that they picked as well. Because like you, a lot of them do blur my mind, but I guess it's fine. I guess it's pretty solid enough Roadrunner. I mean, I suppose you're like me. You're like, okay, I guess another one has to be in there.
I would have put maybe because I'm more familiar with it. I would have put G Wiz
Hmm.
on it, or is Beep Beep on his list? No,
No, because
Beep
we
Beep is not.
no. So we
That was, I think, the second Roadrunner cartoon. I would
yeah.
have put. I mean, is this the one? If let me double check, because again, I have an iPad. I have technology. I believe this is the one at the end of the short. Yes, this is the one where Wile E. Coyote pulls the title card. That's all, folks. Title card into the frame at the end of the cartoon. I
Yeah.
mean, that's how I remember it. Everything else, to be honest, I have to rewatch it. I was like, oh
Hmm.
right, I know I'm gonna get heat, from the Roadrunner fans, and that's maybe I'll say it now. It's a character I never, because people are like, oh, my favorite character is a Roadrunner. I'm like, okay, but why? He runs and he says beep beep. Like,
Hmm.
I don't know. Like, if you say
Who
like
knows?
Tweety or Daffy or Porky or Bugs or Sam, I get it, but it's like he just says beep beep and runs fast. Like, I don't know.
I don't
That's
know. Who knows?
negative comments incoming. Go ahead, fellas and
That's all
ladies.
right.
Just throw them at me.
For sure. Now, Hair Raising Hair, it's an early Jones classic. I think that belongs on the list for sure. And I think it belongs on there. I think that gets a thumbs up. I love it. You know.
Yeah, it's another childhood favorite. Still great as an adult. A lot of great gags. I sometimes get a little picky with non-hardcore fans. They're like, oh, I really love that red monster. Like how, and I'm looking further in the list once we get to Haredevil Hair, but like characters like Gossamer and Marvin Martian, where I'm like, yeah, they're cool, but I think in some ways they get overrated. But I'm thinking about the amount of cartoons they're in. Like Gossamer was what in two, this and Water
2.
Water Every Hair, and Marvin was only in 5 shorts, and like they've eclipsed the popularity of other characters. But I'm like, you know what? At the same time, they were only in Gossamer was only in 2 shorts, and this one is better than Water Water Every Hair. But
Exactly.
he definitely left an impact. So, and it's a really funny short. Great Jones
Exactly.
work.
And Ham in a Roll, and I think this one's a great one, which I can't wait to do. I mean, Ham in a Roll, that dog character is just doing the Shakespeare stuff, just cracks me up. I mean, it's just the whole. I think it's John Barrymore he's impersonating, but wow, does it belong on there? Yeah, I give it a thumbs up. What do you think? Should Ham in a Roll be in there?
I'm just double checking. Okay, so it's a final short of the 40s, December 31st, 1949. It's been a while since I've seen it, but from what I remember, I love that pompous dog that Arthur Davis. Well, the cartoon was started by Arthur Davis. This one was finished by Robert McKimson. But anytime Mel Blanc is just playing a pompous jerk,
Mm,
I love it, what the Goofy Gopher's giving him a dose of his own medicine. It's definitely a very funny short. Belongs on the list.
exactly. And along with the next one, Haredevil Hair, there's no question there. I mean, not just because of its importance, being the first Marvin the Martian, but also it's the first proper team up of Maltese and Jones, which would be the Prosperous team up after that. So that gets a thumbs up from me. I'm sure it does to you too, for the reason you mentioned. But, you know, I'm looking at the next one, though, and this one's going to draw a bit of...
Uh-oh. Because Haredevil Hair and this one, A Hair Grows in Manhattan, are childhood favorites of mine. Well, go ahead, do your worst. He's like,
no, no, no,
how am
no.
I gonna think?
Hair Goes Man is actually a funny cartoon. My problem with it is it doesn't quite live up to its full potential. Where it starts off with the Bugs telling his childhood story, and then it just sort of stops. It just loses all of its focus. I would have preferred the short dealt with that from start to finish, and it just ends. But so would it be in my top 100? Probably not personally. But again, I'm not angry that's in there. If that makes sense. I mean, what do you think?
I would put it on there. I mean, I think it's but to be fair, what Looney Tune Merry Melody short has a cohesive story?
High Diving Hair, which I think is coming up very soon.
All right, you got me there. But but I mean, it could be my bot. I mean, there's some really funny jokes. I mean, Bugs doing the conga thing inside the billboard. I love the part in I forgot. I think the automat. Oh, I'm sorry. You wanted cherry pie, and the dog pile on the rabbit part. I've always like. It's a childhood favorite of mine. It still makes me laugh as an adult.
Yeah,
And the daughter of Rosie O'Grady singing, Mel Blanc singing always makes me smile.
of
I
course.
would put it on the list, but I could see your point. And
Yeah,
also, I'm not from Manhattan. I'm from New Jersey, but I guess growing up in that area, I have a little sentimental value
of
for it. So,
course. But the next one, I think we can safely say belongs on the list, which is the Hep Cat. It's like, something new has been added, which is a very adult joke that we...
oh yeah, yeah, that was like, oh, I never caught that one as a kid. And that's usually what I do when I go out on a date. I love the Goyles, and the Goyles love me, and that's why I'm not married. But no, but I love that early, that mid 40s Clampett energy. Again, very adult oriented, but in that cheeky, only Clampett can get away with it spirit, and also significantly, historical in a sense because it was the first color Looney Tune, but we don't really know because thanks a lot Blue Ribbon reissues. But
exactly.
we have the proof of it. But yeah, it sucks that we can't see. For all you nerds out there freaking out about the original titles, yeah, it would be nice to see for this one, but it belongs on a list. A lot of good energy, a lot of funny gags.
Exactly. Same with the next one, High Diving Hair, which we literally actually recorded a review before doing this, which is pretty funny.
So go listen to that.
Yeah, exactly. But no, that was a classic, tightly paced, and it's a classic for a reason. It's the cartoon which you can consider to be perfect. I absolutely love that one, and I'm sure you agree. Thumbs up, that belongs in the list.
Ugh, sorry, belongs on the list definitely.
But as a musician, I'm sure there's another one that the next one you'll want on the list, which is High Note, and I look at it as
I'm
one of.
curious, as a non-musician, what do you get out of it?
I think it's hilarious because Jones says when he was working on the cartoon, he visioned like the musical notes as like guys with hats, and
Hmm.
I like that idea. I like how he's playing with the imagery of what because music. I'm sorry, Manny, looks like gibberish to me. Looks,
that's
I,
that's like me with math. So
I actually tried to learn to play piano. I tried to read music, and I just, for whatever reason, I just cannot process it, which won't get into too much here. But I love the play on the different imagery. And I think, it definitely belongs on here. It's a unique short that sort of sticks out for the crowd, especially that late of time in Looney Tunes. I think late 50s is what came out.
that
So,
was, I think, 1960 when it came out.
well, 1960, well, it would have been made in the late 50s. So, yeah. So it's pretty much there. But as a musician, I'm sure you love it. I'm sure you think it belongs on there.
Yeah, I mean, it's cool seeing all the, because I get it. Even to this day, I know how to read music and all that and notation or whatever. But there's parts of me is like, I want to think back to the days like when I was a kid, when I was learning how to read music, and it's like, if I saw because I saw High Note, I think for the first time when I already started getting into Looney Tune research when I was like middle or high school, but I never saw it as a kid. But I'm like, man, if I would have known that a quarter rest would turn into a little dog,
Mm.
or what was the other thing? Yeah, like for example, like the quarter note would take off his hat and it looks like a normal hat, and how eighth notes or 16th notes became a horse. That was really cool.
Yeah.
So like like I said, the musician in me freaks out, like in a good way at seeing all these or yeah, I think it was the treble clef that he used it as a crossbow, and I'm like,
Yeah.
that's so clever. I really like. I wish I was in the room with Jones when he was making this cartoon.
It's fantastic. And speaking of fantastic cartoons, I mean, Hillbilly Harry has to be in there. There's no
Oh,
question
one of
there.
the best endings in Warner Brothers history. That
Yep.
square dance sequence still is hilarious. I mean, the beginning of the short up to there, it's really funny. It's
Mm.
like, all the hillbilly jokes, whatever,
Yeah.
but the square dancing scene in particular, you would just cut that part out and it never gets old. It's hilarious.
Exactly. That belongs in there, no question, as we steam across for the next few, because Hollywood steps out. Weird thing is, okay, if you're not into your Hollywood celebrities, old-time Hollywood celebrities, this short might not be in your top 100. Whereas me, I know who most of these guys are, and I think this short's hilarious, especially all the wonderful caricatures. But,
This is a tough one because I saw this one a lot because
mm,
on it supposedly it's not in the public domain, but I had this on the public domain. I think I had this cartoon, Gold Rush Days, and an Iction Time on a cassette. And as a kid, I'll admit some of the caricatures freaked me out because of how weird they looked, like the big eyes, and especially like the Jerry Colonna one was like Yehudi. And as a kid, I'm like, oh, his eyes are like really creepy.
mm,
But it's tough because I'm like, yeah, if you're going by a historical context and if you're a fan of old school Hollywood, you would really get a lot out of it. It- I don't know. This is tough because you could say I do have some sentimental value or nostalgic value because I saw it a lot as a
mm,
kid, even though it was a little weird and still is weird the way that the characters were designed. I probably would not put it on the list
mm,
because it's more of an obscure, like you said, you're a fan of old school well, you're a film buff in general, and
mm,
you would get more out of it. And now me as an adult, I watch it now and I know who most of the characters are,
mm.
but I think
Yeah,
I wouldn't put it on my list.
if this was a list of important shorts, this should be on there. But yeah, I'm sort of leaning towards no on the
Yeah,
top 100. Just like the next one, Honey's Money, which I think is a funny short. Yeah,
yeah.
very, very funny short. Would I put it necessary on there? Maybe, maybe not. I do like like the stereotypical thing about how Sam just wants the money, and of course, ha ha, sexist jokes about women and all that, well, they'd be rich or whatever. It's just, oh man, I don't know. What do
I
you think? Honey's Money? Yay, nay? I mean, I personally,
uh,
I'm like,
I saw this one, often as a kid. I liked it. Yeah, from a modern, now you definitely see some of the more problematic material with the sexism in it. And was it Let me double check. Wentworth? That's the name of the kid? Yeah,
Mm.
Wentworth. I really do like, though, June Foray's, whenever she does that nasty old woman's voice,
Oh yes.
especially, I do, and now I'm looking at the plot synopsis, but I really like that part. Yes, you are. No, I'm not. Yes, you are. And the kid who did the voice of Wentworth, it's like I always get a kick out of having such a cute little voice come out of this. I can't think of another word.
Mommy and
Behemoth.
Daddy are fighting.
This behemoth of a child saying that.
Exactly.
It does make me laugh, but this one I think does not belong on the list.
No.
It's a good short.
Mm.
Doesn't belong though.
The next one I think does belong on there, though. The Hypochondria Cat. I think that was a great one. I mean, I like the first, I suppose, true Hubie and Birdie with the redesigned Claude Cat. But this one I think is more refined and more funnier, where they just
Yeah,
torment this poor cat, make him think he's sick. And I think it's great. Thumbs up. That belongs on there.
yeah.
What do you think?
I do like. We did a review for Mouse Wreckers, and I love the takes that
Mm.
Claude Cat did in this one. And same thing, just how having an actual cat who's a hypochondriac, and it definitely always makes me laugh when I see it. So thumbs up.
Exactly. And I know already you got to say I love to sing it belongs on there. And I actually agree. I think it's a very
I love the singer. It's a
it's a
great short.
it's a charming short. You got some very funny Tex Avery-isms, and even and unlike the Hollywood one, in this one, if you don't know who, like, it goes Jack Benny, haha, right? But even if
Yeah.
you don't know that, it's still funny, short, and then kind of timeless, solid story from start to finish. Yep, thumbs up, no question.
And like I said with Cinderella meets Fella, it's like one of those 30 shorts that it's not there. You don't think of the not stereotypical, but like the definitive Looney Tune style that would evolve in the 40s. But there's just something about these specific 30 shorts. Like I love the singer, and what was the other one from earlier? Oh, Cinderella meets Fella. And
Yeah.
I'm also seeing what's another 30 short on this list. Thugs with Dirty Mugs. Just like I feel that sometimes, everybody's like, oh, the 30s were they were figuring it out. But I'm like, no, there was a lot of quality shorts that came out in the 30s,
Hmm.
and I see also later on you're going to see Porky and Wacky Land. But it's like, don't sleep on them. And yeah, I was watching this one. I love the singer is 86 years old, and it's still an incredibly charming short.
Yep. And
And that song is so catchy.
they even found the original titles, which is nice as well. They got a nice complete package now, which is
Yep.
fantastic. And
Now I made a mistake for the next one because I said it was not on the list. It is on the list. An Itch in Time.
yep, here it is, An Inch in Time, and yes,
I'm happy it's on the list.
and I'm glad this is on here because it's of course my namesake there. But
It- that's your
and we,
last name, Flea?
yeah,
Anthony
Anthony,
Flea?
yep, and we threw it around the corner. Oh, I can't do it as well, but anyway, I'll say yeah, put it on there. Along with Kitty Cornered as well. But I have noticed something. I will pause for a second because I have noticed something. This book is very um, leans very heavily on the 40s clampets. And
Mm.
so it gets you wondering if you're doing a proper top 100, do things need to be balanced a bit more, or is it just the fact that his clampets work really was that good and that so many of them have to be on the list? So
There's a I feel that there's a heavy bias of Jones and Clampett.
yep.
But I think that's in general because, like when you think of, everybody's like, oh, like in the 90s, it was Chuck Jones. And also, to be fair, he was still alive.
Mm,
And some people were saying, oh, Freeling, he wasn't as flashy as Jones, and he
mm,
wasn't as he wasn't as flashy as Jones or Clampett. But especially with like what we were saying before with High Diving Hair and Back Alley Oprah, like his timing, I don't think anybody was better than him when it came to his timing of the
exactly
gags.
right.
And I'm looking at this list too. It's like you got some McKimson shorts. Obviously, his stuff in the 40s and early 50s was better. But one thing, and I know I'm going to hear somewhere Austin is yelling and screaming, where's the love for Frank Tashlin?
Yeah.
I barely see any Frank Tashlin shorts on here. And he did a lot of like, I could see Holy Smoke and Nasty Quacks and the Stupid Cupid are a few I could see on here. I'm like, where's the love for him? And also, another guy I would say is Arthur Davis. He did a lot of quality shorts.
Yeah.
There's no love. And no Ben Hardaway and Cal. I'm just kidding. But yeah, it's definitely Jones and very heavy on Jones and Clampett. And I get it. Jones was from the
Oh,
mid 40s on, he was super consistent.
exactly
But
right. But I'm just angry that this doesn't have enough Tom Palmer in it. I kid, of course. So there's a
no,
hidden one for him.
I was gonna say,
Buddy's Day Out.
crap. Yeah, buddy. Well, I'm trying to think. I was like, think of another crow. Jack King. Where's Fishtails? Where's
Oh,
Shanghai Shipmates?
Fishtails. Oh man, but Earl Duval has made some good stuff. But anyway, we can go over that so long. But speaking of Frizz, I mean, Little Red Riding Rabbit. Um,
Oh, great short.
I think it's a great short. Look, would I necessarily choose it in the top 100? Maybe, maybe not. But again, it's one of those ones where I'm like, you know what? I'm not angry about it. So thumbs up. I think that can go in there.
I
So
think it belongs. It's another childhood favorite. You know, the Little Red Riding Hood. That I think. Oh, who's doing her voice? Is it? It's either Sarah Berner or B. Benaderet. I'm probably gonna lean with. Hold on, I'm gonna get yelled at if I don't check because I'm too lazy to look at my iPad. It is B. Benaderet. Okay, so I was either her or Sarah Berner. I like the voices, and one of my favorite scenes in Warner Brothers history comes from this short, where Billy Bletcher is the big bad wolf is always great, but I don't know if he's speaking legit French or he's doing like fake French. Get out! And he yells at her to get out of the
it's
house. Floors me every time I see that part.
fantastic.
And
Yeah.
also the scene with Bugs and the wolf imitating each other. Hey, wise guy. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Mm, exactly. And the next one, long haired hair. I mean, that's got to be on the list. Thumbs up. It's
Yes.
about as perfect as a cartoon can be.
One of my
And
personal favorites. Yep.
exactly right. But the one after that, Mexicali Schmoes. Honestly, I don't even remember much of that one. I know of it. It's like these two cats trying to get Speedy, and then Slowpoke ends up getting caught, like Slowpoke Rodriguez, but he ends up shooting him with a gun. I mean, great
Yeah.
ending, but I would probably substitute it with another. If you got to put a Speedy in there, I think there are better ones.
I
So
would put the first Speedy short on there instead of this one.
yeah,
Because I don't remember this one too well either, but like the first Speedy, well, not the first for not Cattails for two, but Speedy Gonzalez, the cartoon from
yeah,
1955.
exactly right, and
I would
uh,
put that one there.
exactly, and even the next one, Much Ado About Nothing, which it's a charming
Mm,
look. It's a charming short, but
I
I
wouldn't put it on the list.
nah, Jones has done way better in my opinion. And what's this? What's this? A Tashlin. Nasty Quacks.
Oh, yeah, I mentioned the Nasty Quacks. Um,
It's
I
one of his
like it.
better ones. Yeah.
It's one of his. It's not my personal favorite Tasha ones. I mean, um, but I do like the energy of this one. This is a good use of the Scott art technique that
Mhm.
Tashlin pioneered, and yeah, just this is obnoxious Daffy in all his glory. I just
Yeah.
love how obnoxious he is in this one.
Exactly right. Now, the next one, again, I might get some hate mail, which is Old Glory. Okay. Again, this book,
Uh
again,
oh.
this book seems to mix up between shorts that are genuinely important with genuinely great top 100. And I think Old Glory is important. How he uses the rotoscoping, but apparently some of it's not even rotoscoping. Robert McKimson apparently animated Uncle Sam like without rotoscoping, which is incredible if you think about it. But and of course the dual shade technique, the extra touch they did on there to make this patriotic is it's actually genuinely amazing. And I don't go into this short thinking it's going to be any funny because it's not a funny short. It's actually rather serious, straightforward short, but is it in my top 100? No. I would say don't not in there. That's just my opinion. I wouldn't put it in my top 100. Greatest. I don't think it's one of the greatest. I think it's just important, not great. What do you think?
Well, it's interesting hearing an Australian say that. Now here comes an American saying it.
You're an American. Howdy.
I'm American.
Howdy
Howdy,
there.
y'all. How
Howdy,
you
y'all.
doing, eh?
Hey, how you
I used to.
doing?
Hey, how you doing, kid?
Hey,
I'm
how
going
you
to talk
doing?
about this Porky Pig over here talking to
Porky
Uncle
Pig, get
Sam.
over here. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't know.
I I used to like this short more when I was younger, when I first got into the studies.
And more
Beautiful
patriotic.
animation, very patriotic, but it's just as time went on, I'm trying my nicest way to approach the subject, but it
You're a
it
communist. Okay, fine, fine. Yeah, we get it. We get
yeah,
it.
I'm redder than this can of Truly.
Yeah.
No, it's it beautiful artwork, and like you said before with McKimson, just like how impressive his animation is, but it's not very funny. And
It's not meant to be, I guess, but
yeah, it's not funny at all. And I understand the reason why it was created, and Jones was the perfect person to handle it at the time.
hmm.
It I, I'm trying my best ways. It's just it's not for me. I'm not gonna get into
Fair
any
enough, fair
details,
enough.
but
And like I said, I don't
it's
think
not
it
for
should be top
me.
100, but
From a historical purpose, it's an important one for the history of the studio. Doesn't belong in this list.
yeah, I
Impressive
think so.
animation doesn't belong in the
Exactly.
list though.
And speaking of impressive animation, the old grey hair I think definitely belongs in there. It's
Oh,
another
it's a
slam
hilarious
dunk.
short.
And
Yeah,
I'm still peeved that there's no smell-o-vision yet. I mean, we got 4K, 8K even, Dolby Vision, you name it, but no smell-o-vision yet. So
but
bummer.
Carl Stalling said it wouldn't work, so he was right.
I guess so. I guess so. Now, the one after that, which first of all, One Froggy Evening, yes, that belongs on the list for good reason. But which I know you're going to get into. We're going to have a differing opinion here, and I'll say what I think, and then I'll edit you out. No, I'm just kidding. And this is what Steven Spielberg has said is the Citizen Kane of cartoons. And while I don't necessarily agree with that statement, I can see where he's coming from. The story is solid. It's a modern day, fairy tale, if you will, well, modern for the time anyway. And I love this. I just love this ridiculous frog expression. How when it's a real frog, it's just got the whole frumpy face, and then of course when he's singing, dancing, is so lively, and just this guy with the mustache, because he's not given a name here. How he tries to profit off this frog, everything goes wrong. I think it's a great short. I think it's very charming. I know you probably got different opinions. I think it belongs on the list, but again, you may beg to differ.
It belongs in the list. It is definitely one of the most important shorts ever made. It was definitely me personally. I don't enjoy it as much as other people.
Mm.
Oh, but Manny, it has a frog that sings. I'm like, I know, but
I'm a
I
frog
just
that sings. I'm sorry.
okay, yeah, I am. Kermit's my first cousin, but hi ho. But I never. I don't want to say I don't get the hype. I understand why it's so respected and charming,
Mm.
and it's a very well made cartoon. You will not hear me say no when it comes to that. And I would put it on the list, but it's personally not one of like the ones that I go out of my way. And it's not because it's overplayed, because it definitely is an overplayed cartoon. But I mean, for me, long haired hair is over. It's an overplayed cartoon, but I love it. I could watch it a billion times. But for this one, it belongs on my list. But you won't see me going crazy like, let's watch it 5 times.
Yeah, fair enough, fair enough. I mean, one that does belong on the list, I think it's hilarious, and this is one of Blue Genocide's favorite cartoons, is Operation Rabbit, where we finally hear the coyote talking and up against Bugs Bunny. And I love this series of shorts, was sadly there's only a few of them, but this one is definitely one of the best, especially with that train gag. I think, yeah, it belongs on the list. What do you think?
Yeah, I like this one. It belongs in the list. I do like hearing Wile E. Coyote speak and hearing Mel Blanc be as pompous as possible. And there was like 4 or 5 to
I think
hair is
four.
human, compressed hair, a few other ones, and I wish that they made more, or even more, where it would have been cool if the coyote spoke during a cartoon with the Roadrunner. It would have been cool,
I mean, it would be interesting,
but
something different, yeah. But alas, it didn't happen. We're back in a new edit. Yes, we had to record this one over 2 sessions because Manny, he wanted to sleep. To which I say, baby.
sleeping is for the weak.
That's right, for the week. I mean, what time was it anyway when we finished? It was like for you, what, 2 a.m. or something?
Oh yeah, it was like I think it was on a Friday night, fortunately. But yeah, it was like 1:30 in the morning, and I wanted to keep going and keep pushing through. It's a Spartan race mentality in me. It's like, oh, you're going through hell. Well, guess what? Keep going. But yeah, I was like, hey, Anthony, just to let you know, it's 1:30 in the morning, and he's like, oh, mate, that's bad. I don't know. Sorry,
No. What was my first reaction? So it's
baby.
1:30. So maybe. No. I mean, of course, with change of clothes. I'm probably shaving this time. I might have been unshaven last time. I don't remember. I don't know. I'll check in the editing. But hey, we can continue on with the next one, which we can both agree, I think, will be a thumbs up in this list, which is Paige Miss Glory,
Hmm.
which is one of Tex Avery's earliest color shorts. And I think his first one was like, I'd love to take orders from you. And then this one, I think, was the second one or something like that. And I don't think he even liked that one. I mean, I've heard that he actually didn't like the short for some reason. Do you recall that?
I've read it somewhere. I can't, I don't want to say it off the top of my head and be wrong, but I've said it before, and I was actually mentioning it yesterday to some buddies, but I have a big soft spot for the mid to late 30s Merry Melodies. And you're already starting to see some hallmarks of Avery's humor in this one, like some of the other ones from like Freeling or well, mainly Freeling. Like some of them are a little boring, but just the musical numbers themselves, like the musical number in this short in particular, I really love. And it's like some really beautiful artwork, and actually let me pull it up here before I'm wrong, and I'm probably gonna butcher her name, but once my thing decides to load, but I think it's like Leonora Congdon, something like that, who did the. I'm not 100% sure whether or not like she did the layouts or like the designs because I know it's very Art Deco ish, and I don't know much about art history. So
In the
those of
dream,
you,
in the dream sequence.
yes, in the dream sequence, and very beautiful work, and believe it was the only thing that she was ever credited on in general. Yeah, sorry, Leodora Congdon. And this is off of Looney Tune Wiki, so I know sometimes the Looney Tune Wiki's hit or miss, but this is the only cartoon with all its crew
Well, it's in the book
uncredited.
too. The name's here, so
Yeah, yeah. Which and I've seen her name before, but Leodora Congdon, who received credit as the layout artist, albeit credited as a moderne art designer and conceptualist. And I know that there was an article somewhere, it might have been on Cartoon Research, going into a little bit more information about her. So if you get the chance to read it, definitely do it. But yeah, really nice work. It's not super laugh out loud Avery that we're accustomed to, in later Warner Brothers and MGM, but it's like
mm,
with this, and I love the singer, it's extremely charming. That's the best way I could put
exactly.
it.
Exactly, and it has the one gag I would repeat as a kid always, like service, service. Where's my food? And they give this fat guy this amount of the food, and he eats like half a pea and leaves. I don't know. I enjoyed that, and uh,
It might have
it's a
been
great one for sure. But yeah,
it might have been the inspiration for I'm done. Oh, come on. I paid $88 for this. I'm starting to think maybe that's where that gag came from.
yes,
There's my first Simpsons
probably,
reference of the day.
probably. Yep. Well, I already had one. The whole baby from
So that's
the band episode. You will not find that on Disney Plus. And it's a
Lost
shame. That's actually one of the
Media.
best
Ooh. Yeah,
Simpsons
it's a great episode.
episodes. For sure, it's like I'm not popular enough to be different. That kind of gag. But anyway, it's this ain't about the Simpsons.
Not yet.
This ain't about the Simpsons. But now, a pest in the house. I love this one. I just love Daffy's obnoxiousness, and this is when Chuck was really starting to hit his stride as a director, moving away from the cutesy stuff and more towards the stuff that people mostly know him for today. Would I have this on the list? I see it as if it's in there, sure. I think it's a great short, and it's nice to hear Arthur Hugh Bryan doing a different voice as well. I mean, what do you think of Pest in the House? I mean, I say yeah, that's fine to be on the list.
It belongs on the list. I love this short. It's hilarious. It's like you said, it's great hearing Arthur Q. Bryan do his normal voice. I also like how intense he gets when he starts yelling at Elmer. Just hearing him get angry is always interesting. I love the like. I'm thinking of this short and Daffy Dilly. Is it? Yeah, Daffy Dilly that Jones was directed. Just that obnoxious, or You Were Never Ducky, or that obnoxious late '40s take on Daffy that Jones had. I enjoy it, and I know the feeling of being sleep deprived and how much me personally, how much of a jerk. I was thinking of another word, but I'm trying to keep it relatively G-rated, but how nasty I can be when I'm sleep deprived, and it's just like, dude, I don't blame you. And every time I hear "Pop Goes the Weasel," I just think of bum ba bum ba 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 bum ba bum ba da da. Oh, that was a nice little punch towards the camera. So if you want to slow that down, bum bur
Beautiful.
bum bur 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 bur. So yeah, I think it belongs on the list.
The yeah, and the thumbnail will be your fist just at the.
Pretty
It
much
will
like
just be
that.
our two fists just together.
I was gonna
You know,
make
we'll call ourselves the Fisting Bros, and I don't know.
Oh god.
Never
Well,
mind.
I see as I'm wearing now for any fans that are listening. I'm a wrestling fan. Rest in peace, Scott Hall, Razor Ramon, bad guy, too sweet. But this, like, I'm thinking of the old SmackDown logo from the late '90s, early 2000s. So that's for the wrestling fans out there. So you're welcome. It's a lot better. Anthony and Manny's animation SmackDown extravaganza. Because what do you say, Fist Brothers or never mind. Just move on.
I
Move
was,
on.
no, yeah,
Yeah, let's. I'm not
yes,
going to touch that
we
with a
shall move
10-foot
on
pole,
about.
son. We're going to talk about pigs now.
Yes,
Two pigs in
but
a
this
row
that's
in a
right.
polka.
Pigs of the poker. Yes, we're
Poker?
talking about pigs of the poker. This is what I'm poker,
No, I'm thinking now. It's like
poker.
they're pigs
Yeah, poker,
and they're
mate.
playing poker. Ah! Second Simpsons reference. Oh God, what do I do
That's
with
right.
myself?
And of course the reference is dogs in the short. But
Yeah.
anyway, but no.
Yes.
This one definitely belongs on the list as a
Mm-hmm.
masterclass of Frizz's timing. Gets a big thumbs
Mm-hmm.
up, and not only that, it's actually funny. I mean, granted, it gets a little weird where you can clearly see the house is just a standard house, and yet, you know, uh, um, afterwards, it's like this elevator in a basement. It's like, hang on, is this a house or is this some kind of a d- dimensional thing where I don't know? I'm overthinking it. And no, I'm not going to do the other Simpsons reference. Like, what were you supposed to believe? This is some kind of a
A
magical
magical
house.
house. Come on,
I hope someone
you
gets
gave
fired
me
for
the
that one.
opening for that. um, yeah, this is for
Magical
me
house?
definitely
I don't
belongs on.
know.
It definitely belongs on this list. I love the short. I love the music of it.
Exactly.
Johannes Boams, as I've said before, and it was one of the earliest shorts I ever saw in my life. I had this one on
Yes.
a public domain tape, and thank goodness I don't have those memories of seeing that awfully
Yep.
faded AAP print. Now we have it on Blu-ray, and funny that you mentioned it. I showed this not that long ago, and someone who was like, "Wait a minute, the house isn't that big," and the whole elevator ending. And as I always tell people, three simple words that will help you with your life. And now I'm thinking of another Simpsons reference, but I won't say it. But three simple words: it's a cartoon. If you know that, you will enjoy anything you see. It's not real.
And I enjoy it for that kind of thing. It's not real, but moving on to another pig related one, and see, this one I have a bit of nostalgia for a different reason. See, before I had to take down all my audio commentaries, Pigs is Pigs was actually my most popular video. I had like 13 or so thousand views on it, and the
I
retention was pretty
remember
high
that.
too. And I was shattered. I was shattered when I had to take that one down. And of course, this is the one that was inspired. Again, I'm sorry, fellas and ladies. This is another Simpsons thing. Of course, the nightmare
Yes.
scene was directly inspired the whole Halloween episode where Homer's forced to eat all the donuts, and it's like
So
more
you like donuts,
more
eh? I can't. I know I've lost some weight.
whatever the donuts in the world.
And I can't
So I
help but
actually
thinking of it.
I lost 5 kilos. Yeah.
Awesome. I lost 25 pounds. What is that, like 12 kilos, something like that? I don't know. My conversion stinks. But I do have, and I'm working on it. And my birthday was 10 days
It's still a
ago. But
loss.
yeah. But I indulge in a donut or two, and that first thing I think was, "So you like donuts, eh?" And if I don't stop myself, I'll definitely be like more up, up. And yes, I do love donuts. I always think of the Simpsons scene, but then getting back to this one, it is a very, and I'm not the only one to say this, but this is definitely one of the most disturbing words, most disturbing Warner Brothers shorts they ever made. Like this, um, or like disturbing, creepy, like this, Case of the Stuttering Pig, and Chowhound in particular. Like those three are like, I could definitely see like kids getting nightmares from those three, especially like for this one in Chowhound, which is on the
Hmm.
list that let me double check, but yet, especially like with those people that
Yes.
like love
Yep.
food or dieting, it's very creepy. And Billy Bletcher as the evil scientist is like, I love whenever he does his falsetto voice, and it's just and the hiccup too. It's like it's so goofy and creepy at the same time. His voice.
Yeah, it's a great one, and it's very twisted, as you
Yeah.
mentioned. It really is, and especially when the pig blows up. I love the timing of it, how it when the little pig blows up and then wakes up from the nightmare. It happens so quickly, but it works so well. But I can't
Yeah.
wait to get that one back up on my channel, because people seem to really enjoy that one, along with the next one. What's this? A Tashlin?
Picturing
Yeah, a
Austin
Tashlin
Kelly.
plain Daffy. But thankfully, yes, this one does belong in here. I mean, you could argue plain Daffy could be swapped out potentially with another Tashlin effort, maybe, but I think it belongs in there. Plain Daffy's pretty funny. I just like how he's all like, nah, no women. I'm going to deliver this. I'm going to do the right thing. And then, of course, he gets seduced by a woman. Of course, well, and this one's very, very sexual in a lot of places as
Yeah.
well, which I thought was pretty interesting. And it's such a great wartime cartoon. I mean, what do you think? I think yeah, it's in
It's
there.
been a while since
I
I've
think it's
seen
good.
it, but
What
there's
do you
definitely
think?
some it's been a while since I've seen it. There's definitely some awesome animation in it. Yeah, as you said before. I mean, I'm thinking of I think it's Little Rural Riding Hood, and when I think of this cartoon, I'm just thinking, oh, girls, 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 where are the girls? With Hot Amari, and yeah, I guess the animators and the staff were having a field day with this one, and I think isn't it this one where Daffy? One of my favorite parts in a Warner Brothers cartoon when Daffy's like, "Ooh, the little." Is no. Is it this one where he goes like the little light? It stays on. I know it's a Tashlin short, or he does. It's happened more than once, but I
I
think it's
think
in
it's
that
this one.
cartoon.
It
Yeah,
is. No, it is. It is. Literally
yeah.
in the book, no joke, in the book it actually says, the little
Ah,
light, it stays on.
it stays on. Yes,
So,
I love that part.
so there's your answer right there.
A
But
little light. It stays on. But
it's
it's
in there.
definitely a great cartoon. I think it belongs
Well,
on a list. I mean, is it one of my personal
exactly.
favorites? No, but it's definitely like I'm looking at the next two that are well. Anyway, we'll get to those, but I mean, I would prefer those over this one. But this one's definitely one of the best World War II shorts, and one that is not like super duper. I mean, this is definitely propaganda, but it's not like so heavy handed, like something like Tokyo Joke. Well, that's not a good short, but like
Yeah,
Tokyo Joke or whatever. Like, even though it's wartime propaganda, it's still very entertaining. Like, along with Drafty Daffy would be another one.
exactly.
It's Daffy. He's great. He
You
was a
mean
great
Tokyo
World
Joker
War
is
II
not on
character.
this list? I
No,
kid.
it's in the fine print.
Exactly.
Check the back. I'm drinking my healthy
Yes,
shake and my
yeah,
healthy
for
soda.
sure.
No
Now the next
donuts
one,
here.
Porky and Wacky Land, of course. But Porky and Wacky Land, see, it's a tragedy that this is in here, because really it should be Doe for the Dodo. Hmm. I
Oh.
kid. Yeah, the remake Doe for the Dodo. Actually, funnily enough, Doe for the Dodo is actually the first time I saw this, because it was on the Looney Tunes Golden Collection Volume 1, and it was only until I think it was the collection number 2 where they showed Wacky Land. And I know you have some mixed feelings on it, but I'm sure we can at least agree that it is one of the greatest of all time that should be on the list, even if it may not be one of your personal favorites. I mean, I just love the Dali-esque backgrounds and just the wackiness. I think because by this point, Chuck Jones was out in terms of working with Clampett, and then this is like Clampett unshackled, and he could just like he was clearly inspired as far as I'm concerned. So I mean, what do you think? I mean, would you put it in the top 100, even though I know you're not the greatest fan of it?
Um, yes. I think it's highly ironic that I have this opinion about it because I love Clampett's work. Porky's my favorite character, and I love Clampett's black and white Porkies. I don't know why. Oh, excuse me, one moment. Was that you or me that was buzzing? I think it might have been you. But what's buzzing, buzzard? That's
Probably me.
yeah. But I do recognize the brilliance of the short. It's like my feelings with this one and One Froggy Evening, where personally they're not my go-to shorts, but I do recognize they're two of the greatest shorts the studio ever made and two of the greatest cartoons ever made. But I mean, I also get people say this a lot with What's Opera Doc, where people recognize it's a brilliant cartoon, but it's not always one that people clamor towards. Whereas I love that short. It's probably my favorite Warner Brothers short. But you know, I don't know. Like maybe one day a switch is going to turn on in my head, and I'm just going to say, "Oh my God, Porky and Wacky Land is like the greatest thing I've ever seen." I don't hate the short. I think it's a very funny short. It was groundbreaking, like you said. You know, Clampett was free from the Jones influence, and it was. There's a lot of things that are still hold up today, and the Dodo Bird. I wish that we could have seen him more. That would have been a cool character. But and you know, you have Go Dodo from Tiny Toons. I'm thinking of. What's funny, as a kid, I remembered Go Dodo first, and then I would see Porky and Wacky Land. I'm like, wait, am I missing something? But yeah, it deserves the accolades. Excuse me, the accolades it gets. It's not in my top 10 or top 20, whatever. But no, I just want to get hit with tomatoes. But yeah, it definitely deserves the credit it gets.
Of course. Of course, of course. So yeah, no, I agree with you on the that's you can still respect something and call it one of the greatest, even if it's not something that you yourself may, I guess, personally think is the great, your favorite or whatever. But no, I love Porky Wacky Land, and it's just one of those things. But the next one, yeah, it definitely has to be thumbs up. Definitely on the list. Another Tashlin, Porky Pig's Feet, and I got to say, for someone that admittedly said he did not like Porky Pig, he did some great stuff, and this one's one of the greatest ones that a lot of people have seen because public domain. It's absolutely fantastic. Porky Pig's Feet. I mean, yeah, definitely a list. I mean, I'm pretty sure you agree with that.
It's in my top 10. I love this short. I love the music. I love the animation. I love Daffy's hilarious in this short. Some of my favorite lines in Warner Brothers history come from this. You know, uh, the whole I don't I'm trying to process it because I really do love this short a lot, but just the whole setup is hilarious. You know, insulting my
The
integrity,
hospital bill.
a fatso. Love that whole scene. I love when I think the manager's hot footing Porky and his don't time's a wasting. Love that line. The whole sequence where Mel Blanc, just once again, I could just gush over how amazingly talented he was. But the whole scene with the manager trying to break down the door, and Daffy pulls the carpet, and he falls out. Ooh, ow, and I'm like, what I would do just to see a video of Mel Blanc doing those yells. Yeah,
Yeah, that
I
would
mean,
have been definitely something.
I could spend a half hour talking about how much I love this short, and it's like you said, for someone who did not like Porky at all. Come on, Tashlin, you know better than that. You're one of us. You're from Jersey. But I mean, I'm looking at the list, and you have Porky Pig's Feet, and then later on we're gonna have Holy Smoke, which I'm like, Tashlin hated Porky, but he really was good with Porky. And other ones, like Porky's Romance, Porky the Fireman, other shorts I could think of. I'm like, he had a good take on the character. Well, maybe not necessarily the good take on Porky himself, but he made very entertaining shorts with Porky.
Yeah, exactly right. The next one, look, it's Rabbit Fire, which is the first of the three um, of the Hunter trilogy
Mm-hmm.
shorts. And I love Rabbit Fire. It's not my favorite version of Daffy. I guess, liked this version of Daffy as much, even though that was the prominent version that a lot of us grew up with, and I'm sure you grew up with that as well. But I think it's kind of a cheat because didn't they? Because I'm forgetting what we called it in the first part for part of it. But as I
Same here.
understand it, we've also got one of the other
Duck,
ones of
rabbit,
this
duck.
trilogy, Duck Rabbit Duck. It's like
Well,
you
I
could
made a
have on
mistake.
this list maybe picked only one.
I made a
You
mistake in the last
mistake?
commentary. Yeah, never. But I said that I don't believe that the other parts of the Rabbit trilogy are here. And I looked at the list the last, and I might have brought it up in the last time we recorded. But yeah, all three of the Rabbit trilogy, Rabbit trilogy, 100 trilogy is on this thing. Wow, it's what is it, 9 o'clock here, and I'm already petering out. But like, yeah, it is
Oh,
a bit of a cheat,
thanks
and
for
like
saying the time.
9 o'clock a.m. and I'm already sleepy. No, but it was. I'm like, come on, pick one. Me personally, it's either rabbit seasoning or duck rabbit duck. That would be my personal favorite of the three. But yeah, it's like, I mean, they're all great shorts. Don't get me wrong, and I am happy that you brought up the
Yeah,
whole thing with Daffy, where, well, you say that I grew up with it. I did, but remember, I've said it before, where I have a soft spot for the AAP package and the black and white shorts. So for me, Daffy usually defaults to the Clampett version, the screwball version from the 30s and 40s. And I never really was the biggest fan of the way that Jones changed him, but it works here. I'm thinking more like once we get to the 60s, where I'm thinking Daffy, Speedy, and just how much of a insufferable duck he is in those cartoons. But we're going to be seeing plenty of 60s.
exactly.
I think we're going to see Rabbit Stew and Rabbit Stew and Rabbit Stew and Cool Cat and all those other seven arts, and the rest of the list is made up of nothing but the Roadrunner shorts from the 60s. Awesome. Looking forward to talking about those.
That's right. Yeah, it's one of those lists. But the next one, has to be in here, which is Rabbit Seville, which I know you, being a singer and a musician and all that, you
Me?
obviously get a kick out of it. Yes, you. But this one, even that aside, is just a funny short. Even if you don't
Mm.
know or even care about the musical references, it is so darn funny. I mean, even in this book, you see the flower gag, which always how the flowers just grow to the timing of the music, and of course the whole the bigger gun where Bugs runs into the frame with Elmer runs into the frame with one gun, then Bugs runs into the frame with another bigger gun, then a bigger gun, then a cannon, and then they get married.
Yeah,
Sure,
sounds
why
about
not?
right. Sounds
Why
like an
not?
American wedding. I was gonna say, I was actually looking at my head. I was like, "What do you think? Should I get chrysanthemums or roses or daisies? What kind of flowers I could put on my head?"
I think you're a rose kind of guy.
Okay, thank you. Every rose has its thorns. A little was that Guns N' Roses? I don't even remember that. Wow. I'm all over the place today. Uh I think somewhere else. I forgot where it was, but I think by mistake I said that this cartoon, it might have been one of the commentaries, and this is something that's been nagging me in the brain, that I think I mentioned Rabbit of Seville and I said it was Mozart. No. The Barber of Seville is Rossini. Wrong composer. They adapted the same story. I think
Yes,
it was a trio of plays written by a French playwright. But I think chronologically, the Marriage of Figaro, Le Nozze di Figaro, which I actually performed in several years ago, that one is first chronologically speaking, but that one was most famously written by Mozart. And that opera is referenced at the end of Rabbit of Seville when they fall on the cake, says Marriage of Figaro. But this one, Barber of Seville, Il Barbiere di Siviglia, is Rossini, which is written in the 1800s. And of course, I can't go a day without hearing Figaro's famous aria from this one, from Largo al Factotum, which I actually wrote a paper on in grad school. So go figure. Animation and music all combined and helped me get my master's degree. So hey, it worked.
exactly right. Next one, which look, rabbit seasoning, which we just touched upon
Yeah.
not long ago. pick one of the Hunter trilogy for the list. And Rabbit Fire, the first one, I think should be the only one on the list. But again, Rabbit Seasoning, great cartoon. It's got the
Hmm.
sign gag in the beginning. It's like rabbit here. Follow this way to rabbit. I enjoy that part, and of course, Bugs cross dressing. But you know, yeah,
Is
pick one. I'm
is
sure you
this
agree
because
with that.
I always get confused with these two. Is this the one with pronoun trouble? Pronoun
Yes,
trouble. Okay, then I think this is the one I like more
yeah,
than
that's the one.
Rapid Fire. Yeah. Okay. I always get confused with these two.
Sure,
Duck Rabbit Duck is
but at
easy
least,
because they're out in snow.
and that's fair enough. Exactly, exactly. And seasoning is like autumn, and I wonder if they would have made a fourth one in
In the summer,
maybe in summer or something. I don't know, or spring. Actually, spring that would have been interesting. But anyway, doesn't
winter,
matter.
spring,
But at least
summer,
what
or
does matter is, of course, the
fall.
next one, Rhapsody in Rivets is the
Yes, I
next
love
one.
this
Which,
one.
yeah, that belongs on there. I mean, I
Yes.
saw this one on Cartoon Network so many times, and in fact, in this reprint they haven't even bothered to update it with the new the new restoration stuff. Like this is literally just the same book with a new cover, but the content, it is still great. It's just interesting that they didn't go that little extra mile there. But anyway, Rhapsody Rivets. If you needed yet another example of Fritz's timing, here it is. And of
Hmm.
course, Fronts lists. See, I saw Cat Concerto and Rhapsody Rabbit first. I actually, funnily enough, had VHSs of Tom and Jerry and one of copyrighted Bugs Bunny shorts, and they actually had those two shorts, Cat Concerto and Rhapsody Rabbit. And I knew Francis' song before then, but then when I saw this one, I'm like, it's that song again. So it's a
Yeah.
really good one. I mean, what do you think? Rhapsody Rabbit's definitely in there. I mean, I
Oh,
would.
it's in my top 10. I love this short. I've seen it a billion times. Just when we were talking about when we did the commentary for Mouse Mazurka, which is not on this list. Good. I don't hate it, but like when you think of Frizz's timing, especially with the second Hungarian
Yeah,
Rhapsody,
I agree.
this definitely belongs here. Now I'm thinking, um, wait, actually, now that I think about it, is Rhapsody Rabbit is not on this list. Ah, there's another one I feel that should be on there, but I digress. But I I lost my point. I guess now I'm just irritated now that. So Rhapsody Rabbit, The Case
You
of the
like
Stuttering
stories.
Pig. Yeah, I like stories, but yeah, Rhapsody Rabbit, The Case of the Stuttering Pig, and there was one other short that I mentioned prior to recording with you that I felt should have been on here. So I have to jot these down. But yeah, the I'm surprised that one's not on there. Now, which one I think well, it's different because Rhapsody in Rivets uses the orchestral arrangement of the Second Hungarian Rhapsody, which was done later. If I'm not mistaken, I'm remember off the top of my head, but Franz Liszt, I believe, helped write the orchestral. I'm probably wrong. I'll look it up later. But yeah, there's an orchestral arrangement which was second, but the piano version of this piece of music was written first by Liszt because he was a virtuoso piano player. And I like seeing both how Fritz took both versions of this piece and adapted them for Rhapsody in Rivets and Rhapsody Rabbit. But yeah, A, that should be on the list, and B, this definitely belongs on the list. I love this short. Sorry. I like stories.
Exactly. Exactly right. But the next one, Robin Hood Daffy, I love this short. It's such a great late 50s Jones short where he was starting to, I suppose, be a little more hit or miss
Hmm.
personally around that period. But Robin Hood Daffy is definitely a hit for me, and it's just it's one of the last few I think Michael Maltese written shorts. I think he had a few more afterwards, of course, before he went to Hanna Barbera. And I mean, come on, who doesn't like the whole yanks and away, boom, yanks and away, boom. I mean that kills me every time, and my kids as well. I show it to them, and they're in hysterics over it.
Actually,
It's crazy. So I think it's on the list. What do you think? Yeah,
let let me
Robin Hood
write that one
Daffy.
down. I need to because for I have a cartoon club at my job, and I should show that one, especially now that it's spring and it's very colorful and whatever. Robin Hood Daffy. Yeah, great short. I'm not the biggest fan of the narcissistic Daffy, but here it works. Yeah, I agree. Definitely, this is when Jones is becoming hit or miss, but this one's definitely a hit. Very funny. I like the animation of this one. Um, and another beautiful example of I love the Porky and Daffy dynamic here. The scene where they start cracking up and and then Daffy picks up Porky while they're just in hysterics. I always got a kick out of that. And yeah, I just love seeing how whenever Jones would just take Daffy's like confidence and arrogance and just completely throw it in his face. And this is definitely the oh, and I wish I had it here, but I actually have little figurines or busts about this big from Robin Hood Daffy, and I have both Porky and Daffy. They're currently in storage right now, but they're two beautiful pieces of artwork. And yeah, you have Friar Porky and Robin Hood Daffy, and it's they I forgot what company made them, but they also made I think a bust of Bugs and Elmer from What's Opera Doc as well, and I need to get those as well. If I
Yeah,
have a
they're
picture of it,
fantastic. I've
I'll
seen the ones. But yeah, of course. But the next one is Rocket by Baby. See, I'm kind of on the fence with that one. It's a great short. I do like it. I think it's actually pretty funny, and it's also kind of charming in a way as well. But they have this short, but they don't have Now Hear This, which is not on the top 100. I would actually put Now Hear This. They put High Note, which is another Jones one shot, which should be on here because it's a great short. But I would probably substitute Rockabye Baby with Now Hear This. But again, I don't hate Rockabye Baby, so I'm sort of like this with it. I don't think it's top 100, but I think it's
excuse
still
me.
sold short. I mean, what do you think?
I haven't seen Rocket by Baby in a long time. Oh, excuse me, man. I'm really gassy today from that Zevia soda. Send me free cases, Zevia, if you're listening. Uh, grape flavor in particular, but never really one that stood
Sponsored by
out.
Zevia.
Sponsored by Zevia. I get yours today. Never really stood out for me. Um, Meh. I mean, I don't want to say it doesn't belong on the list because to be fair, it's been a long time since I've seen it, but this one never really caught my attention. I'm gonna stay neutral on this one, and I could see because
Yeah,
I'm like
so
looking at the synopsis of it, and eh, get back to me when I do. Once I get to, I think this is what 1956. When I get to my chronological viewing of all these shorts, or if we record the commentary for it, I'll have a better opinion of it.
yeah, of course. But the next one I do agree should be on here. Russia Rhapsody is fantastic clampet effort and one of the best World War II shorts. Some of the greatest animation there, and it's also a thrill that that the Kremlin from the Gremlin, that song is incredible as well. I think this belongs on here. I mean, what do you think?
App. I don't know if you've ever
Megan
heard
start
this
singing
phrase
"This
before.
the Kremlin."
Not. What's funny? I mentioned. Well, I think we did the commentary for Russian Rhapsody, or we recorded a while back. This is when I was in Texas, and when you brought me on board
Clampett
initially, I
Part
think
Two.
well, Clampett Part 2, but when I first started recording with you, we did Russian Rhapsody, but I think there was a little snafu with the recording. It might have been the Gremlins; they sabotaged it. But oh man, I love this short.
They did.
I would love to show this one. Like this is definitely one that definitely needs to be praised. I would just, obviously don't show this blind to anybody without giving it its proper historical context. But just the scene of Mel Blanc as yelling as Hitler is just absolutely hilarious. And it makes me, when you think of it too, how they say how people in power, dictators and authoritarians, what's one of the first things they go after is the arts. They go after music and theater and dance and comedy because that's what makes them lose their power. And I'm thinking how refreshing it would have been for an audience in 1944 to see this and to see how Warner Brothers just completely made a absolute mockery of this despicable human being. And at the same time, just seeing how great. I'm trying to word this in the most appropriate way possible, but just I love the voice work that Mel Blanc did in that particular scene, and at the same time, just br- I guess you guys would say, I know the British say it, but taking a piss out of a person like that, and absolutely
No, we
top
say
notch
it.
anime. Yeah.
Yep, we
Okay.
say
Cool.
that.
Let me. Australians say that apartment equals flat. All right. Cool. What was the other one? Trunk equals boot, not a boot. That's Canadian. Hi, Blue.
Yep.
Um, but yeah, and my I've said it before, but my brother, he's a little older than I am, but he's not a Looney Tune nerd like we are. But he loves this short. He occasionally he'll just walk by going, "We're gremlins from the Kremlin." It's a catchy song. So hi Carlos, if you're
Exactly
ever listening.
right. Yes, listen, listen. Next one.
Help your little brother out.
Satan's Waiting. I. That's right. Satan's Waiting, and you know, I actually don't even recall this one too much. I mean, I kind of saw it. I think as part of a compilation movie that Frizz did, but this is the one I think. Sylvester's got like 9 lives or something, and he has to go
Hmm.
after Tweety. It's an interesting
And
idea
the
though, but I
and the
can't
devil is a
really.
bulldog.
Yep, yep, that's the
Yeah,
one.
that
Yeah,
one.
I completely forgot about this one, so I'm gonna withhold my judgment for now, and see whether this one is better than say, Battle Putty Tat or another Sylvester Tweety short. But at least the idea is great, so maybe that's why this was picked over something like Battle Putty Tat or whatever else. Uh, but the next one, Scaredy Cat, that's a great one. I think out of the three Porky Sylvester team ups, I think this one is the better one, especially animation wise. But I just think I just especially like the ending where Sylvester's getting his confidence back, and then he's like, "Yes, fight! You got to fight!" And then he ends up fighting all those mice, and we see Lou Lear again. The Lou
Yeah.
Lear. Do you think this should be on the list?
Well, I will say that Satan's Waiting does belong in the list because you skipped my opinion for that one. But yeah. And for Scaredy Cat,
I
I
think
do
there's a
agree.
slight
It is
delay with the recording. Yeah,
there. Yeah, there is. I noticed it earlier, but Scaredy Cat, I agree. The three Porky Sylvester ones, this is definitely the best one. When we were doing a commentary for, I was like, wow, I forgot how funny this one is. And I just like these cartoons where, I mean, I love Sylvester's voice, but I remember reading somewhere before that Sylvester is the most versatile Warner Brothers character, and this whole series of the Scaredy Cat cartoons, the what would you call it, the Scaredy trilogy, the Dark Cat trilogy. I'm thinking of the
scary
Dark Knight.
trilogy,
The Scary Trilogy. And speaking of which, I have to
the
rewatch the
Dark
Dark Knight
Cat.
trilogy, the Dark Cat trilogy. But um, but yeah, this is definitely a hilarious short, and good solid choice. So yes, and Satan's Waiting, going with that
Of
again.
course.
I did see that
Oh,
one growing up, and
yeah.
I'm not the biggest fan of Sylvester and Tweety in general, but this is definitely, I would say this one, and I forgot the name of the short where the Hector and Sylvester in the hospital, and like the scene where Sylvester's like falling asleep and Hector has like the mallet in his hand and hit him in the cast. Like those are the two Sylvester and Tweety shorts
Yeah.
that pop in my head. I forgot the name of it though. I don't want to. I was thinking Muzzle Tough, but I'm probably wrong.
I know the one.
But yeah, yeah, that one. That's the name of the short. Literally that one.
That one. That's it. So, next one, Scarlet Pumpernickel. I get an absolute kick out of this one because,
Hmm.
well, first of all, it is funny. I like how
Yes.
Daffy's trying his best to pitch this idea to Warner Brothers. But more importantly, you get all these nice little cameos from all these different Looney Tunes characters who normally wouldn't be in the same short together. So as a kid, I got a real kick out of that,
Hmm.
with the notable exception, of course, of Bugs Bunny. But it was still pretty cool to watch. I think it's really funny, and I can't wait to cover this one soon. I think it's what is it? 1950 came out, something
Yes,
like
around
that.
there.
So, so I can't wait to cover that. I mean, what are your thoughts? I think yes, that belongs on the list.
It is a. Just kidding. I definitely love this short. I sometimes go into like a little bit of a tangent with my non Looney Tune fans. How I'm a purist when it comes to like not mixing characters from different series. Like Foghorn has to be with Henry and Barnyard Dog. Porky's with Daffy. Bugs could be with Daffy, whatever. Like I don't want to see Bugs hanging out with Tweety or Marvin Martian with Taz. Like for me, I don't like seeing the characters intermingle. But this is like the one time that they did that where like I'm thinking of the scene with Melissa and you have Mama Bear and Henry Hawk and obviously Sylvester and Daffy as the villain and the hero of it and Elmer in one of the few times Mel Blanc did Elmer's voice when Arthur Q. Brian's still alive. You humble my it was I think it's like you grace my humble abode. And I'm like, Mel Blanc, you were great, but man, you were not great as Elmer. But I get a kick out of that part. But yeah, this is definitely it deserves the accolades it gets. Great short. And I don't know if you know what pumpernickel is, right?
Uh, is that some kind of a vegetable?
Pumpernickel is a type of bread. It's like a blackish brown bread, and I have
Okay.
fond memories of my father buying pumpernickel bread and just get some grape jelly and put it on top or a little butter. Mwah, chef's kiss. So, little food trivia for the day.
All right. When I when I finally fly out to New Jersey, you got to introduce me to that to the finer palate or palais. Um, uh, so next one, and Scrap Happy Daffy. What's interesting is we've already got a few patriotic Daffy shorts in this one. So I guess could we say, much like we do with the Hunter trilogy, that maybe like pick one instead of the two? Like we got two Taschen efforts, fantastic Taschen shorts,
Yes.
but could maybe if they picked one instead of the two? Because yeah, we got to be fair here. If we're going to pick on Hunter trilogy for that, we got to do the similar thing here. But thankfully, Scrap Happy Daffy is another fantastic World War II short, and it's an amazing one. Look, I think it belongs on the list, but again, maybe just one instead of the other. But what do you think?
Um, I agree with like merging some of the similarly theme words. Ones would it be helpful? Would I pick this one over plain Daffy? Because I'm thinking we have patriotic Daffies in general. I think my favorite of the patriotic Daffies is Drafty Daffy. And but if you wanted to debate this one and the two Tassel ones, this one and plain Daffy, I would need to do another listen or another listen. I need to do another watch of them. But I mean, this one's definitely a great short. I love Daffy singing the beginning, "We're in to win," and the whole scene where he's pointing out the different things that you could plane, trains, da 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 da. Da. Great scene, and the villain, the hungry goat, definitely a character I'd love to see more often. And it's just the animation. I'm probably saying this wrong, but I think the scene where you first see the goat. I believe that's Art Davis who animates that scene where he's eating like the different cans or whatever when he shoots out of these the Nazi submarine and he starts eating the scrap pile. And just that scene right there where you can see him start eating away at the stuff. I always got a kick out of that. But yeah, if you ask me between this and Plain Daffy, I'll get back to you. Does it belong on the list? It's a great short, definitely. It belongs on the list, but I think they could have been a little bit more judicious in their choices, getting rid of some of the redundancies, you
Yeah,
could say. And I don't mean that in a bad way because it's a
I
phenomenal
think
short,
so.
but like kind of trim the fat, so to speak.
Exactly. Now, next one, Showbiz Bugs. See, I'm of two minds of this one. See, I mean, first of all, it is a great short. I quite enjoy it, but it doesn't feature my favorite version of Daffy. But to be fair, Frizz was just doing whatever was around at the time. This is Bugs. So this is Daffy's character now. Of course, he's jealous of Bugs's success, but you gotta love the animation of the dance with Daffy and Bugs. You gotta love the piano gag, which was reused. I think Freeze used it earlier, and of course he reused the whole final gag as well. With I could only do this gag. What I could only do this show once, and that sort of thing. And of course, they're finally cheering when Daffy kills himself. Okay, fine. Does it belong on the list? I would say yes. it is a solid short, but again, it's not my go-to. I probably have the same feelings on it as you do with Porky and Wacky Land. That's probably a good way to
Okay.
put it. I mean, what do you think? Should Showbiz Bugs be on there?
It belongs in the list. It's a great short. I like the short a lot. I think it's pretty funny. I've said it a billion times. I always prefer the AAP package over the, because this one I remember seeing like occasionally on Nickelodeon and definitely on the Bugs Bunny and Tweety show growing up. And yes, this is the cartoon that formed the basis of the Bugs Bunny show in 1960. But it's definitely a really funny short. It's if you want to be meticulous, yeah, it's definitely reusing a lot of gags as you mentioned, the endearing young charms, the suicide gag at the end. But I think it still holds up really well. I think, especially in the beginning when Daffy's just being such a jerk with the tax, when he's like 25 cents, that's a ripoff, and I'm like, bro, anything to pay 25 cents for a taxi or 25 cents for gas, considering, I paid 4.17 a gallon today to fuel up my car. But I think you know
What's a
what?
gallon?
It could I think it's I don't know, like 2 liters. I don't know, something like that. but but what's a gime? No, third reference or fourth. What else was I going to say? Now let me ask you a question. Was this one overplayed a lot for you when you were a kid, or in general?
Yes,
That
and part of it
probably
is
could be
because,
why.
and part of it was also, yeah, part of it is also it was on the one of the compilation Looney Tunes movies as well, so that's part of it.
Okay,
I forgot which one
that
actually. I think it was in the Looney Bugs Bunny movie.
okay, that could be why. And you know what? I respect that you brought it up. How like you could definitely recognize this is one of the greatest shorts the studio ever made. But I feel a certain way about One Froggy Evening and Porky and Wacky Land, and this is you with that one. But no, I mean, considering this was what 57. I mean, 57 had a lot of you had this, you had What's Opera Doc, you had there's one or two others from the I think no Robin Hood Daffy's 58, but like that late 50s period where these are definitely the ones that stand out during that time period because that's when you could definitely see, especially in Bob McKimson's output, that it was definitely taking a tumble down.
Oh, exactly right. I totally agree. See, the next one is Slick Hair, right? I love this short. I think it's great. But, well, first of all, there was already a Hollywood one in here. Hollywood Steps Out, right? So
Yeah,
they've already covered the Hollywood part. But I think in terms of Bugs and Elmer, if you're going to pick one that Frizz did, I'd probably substitute Slick Hair, as great as it is, maybe with Hairdo. I don't know. I found Hairdo to be that just a little bit funnier. But with that said, does it belong in the top 100? I'd say yeah. It's fine. Like, if you're going to pick one of those Frizz ones, I'd say yeah. But again, I personally substitute this with Hairdo. Personal opinion. What do you say about Slick Hair being on the list?
I have a soft spot for this cartoon. I love it. I saw this one relatively often as a kid. It belongs in a list. Definitely a top notch. The scene where Bugs is dancing to samba. I mean, I one of those where I wish I was in the studio listening to them playing, Brazilian samba. And I know I sent the clip of this a while back to one of my best friends who was born in Brazil, and I was like, "Hey, man, Bugs dances Brazilian music better than you do," and he got a kick out of that. And I can't go, you know, I can't go too far without mentioning one of my absolute favorite scenes in Warner's history. Pick up pie, Roger. Yeah, pie, sir. Kills me every single time I see it. Great
Yeah,
short.
it's a great one. It's a great one. Yeah, for sure. So yeah, so I'm fine with it being on the list, even though just personal preference, I'd put Hairdo, but whatever. Now, Steel Wool, I guess they're going to put one Sam and Ralph Short, which I have a soft spot for these. I personally like one of the later ones where you had the gag where they're taking off their suits like numerous times. I thought
Yeah,
that
I
was a
remember
funny
that
one.
one.
But Steel Wool, yeah, Steel Wool. You know, I'd say yeah, it's a great one. And it's kind of like it feels like a Roadrunner short, but with a different flavor. That's how I've looked at these. So, I mean, what do you think? Does this belong on the list?
I I I hate to say this, but with the Ralph Wolf and Sam Sheepdog shorts, for me they're like the Roadrunner or Wile E. Coyotes. They bleed together, so for me it's very hard to keep track of them. But for the most part, the ones that I did watch, like I never had a problem with Ralph Wolf and Sam Sheepdog cartoons, but based on the fact that from the ones, it's hard to keep track of them. That I guess is the easiest way of saying it. But you have to put one on there, and I probably after this recording, I'm gonna probably rewatch it. Be like, oh, it was that one. But yeah, I'll put it up there. I do enjoy these cartoons. I just love anytime I hear the "Hello, Sam," "Hello, Ralph." Always get a kick out of that. And yeah, I know it's probably a crappy way to sum it up, but I honestly don't remember this one that well because how many there was, like more than 10 of these shorts with these two characters. But oh, and I was saying before, great shorts in 57. This one is also from 1957. So this, What's Opera Dog, Showbiz Bugs. Look, we already have a bunch of them in a row that are from 1957. There must have been something in the I don't know in the zeitgeist in that year, or 56 when they were planning these shorts, that made them so. Oh, one that's
For
coming
sure.
up very soon. One of my absolute favorite shorts is also 1957. It's coming up on this list, but stay tuned, folks. We'll get there.
Yes. For now, though, we're gonna head over to Stupid Cupid, which is a great Taschen short. I would probably personally substitute it with the first Bugs short that he did. Again, I'm horrible with the names because I'm trying to remember the name of the Taschen Bugs short that he did
Unruly Hair.
in 45. Unruly Hair, that's the one. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
but again, that is a personal preference because I just thought Unruly Hair was a lot funnier. But this one has its funny bits, like with Sylvester being Cupid. Sorry, not Sylvester. Elmer. See, my brain's not working today. Elmer being Cupid, and for that alone, yeah, I'm fine with it being on the list. I mean, what do you think? Yay, nay?
I'm I like the short. I do like Super Cupid. I don't. mm, what I would substitute. I mean, I do love the Unruly Hair. Have some cheese, rat. I love that line. But I'm looking at the list, and I thought it was on here. But what I would substitute Stupid Cupid with, another Tassel short. I Got Plenty of Mutton. I think that's a better short than Stupid Cupid.
Yeah, that's a good
If you
one.
want to go with
Yeah,
the whole love, libido vibe, I think this one would be that Mutton would be a better choice than this one. Don't get me wrong, great short, and I
yeah,
mean, again, Austin, where are you? But Tashlin. I mean, I love Tashlin's output in general, but especially him just before he left the studio, he was just firing on all cylinders. With I think there was only one that was like, I think booby hatched. But yeah, I would, if it's on the list, I'm not going to argue with you on it. But give me Mutton over this one for your crazy love libido stuff.
yeah. Fair enough. And look at this next one, Stupid Salesman, which is a
Ah,
wonderful Art Davis short, which is definitely one of his bests. And you know, I think this is his second on this list because Do Re Meow I think is on this list as well. I'm
is
pretty
it? Let
sure.
me see.
Again, see,
Do
I'm
re mi
forgetting what we discussed.
Do
It
re
is. So yeah,
mi.
this will
Yes,
be
it
the
is.
second one, I believe. It is. Yeah,
Oh, it's a shame.
and
Bowery
no, this
Bugs
this
is
one's
not on
great. I
here.
mean,
Sorry, this delay's killing
that's
me.
another one on the list. No, that's fair enough. All good. No, we'll figure it out. We'll get there. But no, I love Salesman Daffy. That's one of his best roles. Absolutely love
Yeah,
it. But I think, yeah, this belongs on the list. So what say you?
I have to do like 3 seconds and wait for the delay. No, I love this short. I think we did the comment. Yeah, we did the commentary for this one. I'm a big fan of it. I
We did.
love just how loosey goosey the Art Davis animation is in this one. And this was, I think, one that I saw on Nickelodeon growing up. I always had a big fan. I was always a fan of it. And just you said it. You took the words right out of my mouth. Salesman Daffy, Daffy Dilly. This one. Oh, what's the name of the one that he did with Porky Pig? It was a McKimson one, but that's like another one I'm thinking of. And it's just yeah, he was
Yeah.
born to be a salesman and full
The
of
insurance salesman.
yeah. Or Along Came Daffy. There's another one with Fritz Freeling and the two Yosemite Sam twins or whatever. It's like he was born to be a salesman. He was yeah, he would be great here in the United States working at retail. Make a new version of this short where he works in in retail or like a telemarketer, just like shoveling all this nonsense down your throat. Buy buy this
Indeed.
product, and ugh, I'm getting memories of retail. I hate those days.
Of course. No, that's okay. But look, Serena Crooner's next, right? So, another Taschen short. This one, I think, belongs in here for one simple reason. I mean, I'm sure me and you can do this together, even with the 3 second delay. They'll dun 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 dun
Dun
dun
dun
dun
dun
dun
dun
dun
dun
dun
dun
dun
dun
dun
dun
dun
dun dun
dun
dun
dun
dun
dun
dun.
dun 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 dun. So yeah, I say thumbs up on the list. Even if the last half of the short isn't quite as good as the beginning, I still like this one. I definitely, yeah, thumbs up. It goes on there.
I love Swooner Crooner. Great short. I mean, I'm always a sucker for musical shorts. I love the caricatures of Cap Calloway and Bing Crosby and Sinatra. And it also gives me because I'm thinking of it popped in my head, but you have what's the name of the short? Little Tinker from MGM from 48, 49. And I like the similar idea that a character's dressed up. Well, not in Little Tinker, the skunk is imitating Frank Sinatra, where the chicken in this one is supposed to be Frank Sinatra. And all the gags of the chickens or the rabbits going crazy hearing him. And more than likely, Tex was influenced by Swooner Crooner, but I mean, I love the music of this short. It's really funny, and yeah, you said it before. The one of the best uses of Powerhouse in Warner Brothers cartoons.
Exactly. So the next one to continue on is, of course, A Tale of Two Kitties, which we recently covered for Clampett Part 2, which is coming, folks. It is coming. Don't worry, I'm working very hard on it, along with Blue, who's editing it. But Tale of Two
Or hardly
Kitties,
working.
the amazing thing about this one, as you know, Huey Nelson pointed out, which I actually didn't notice, but this short takes place over the course of a day, and the background changes to reflect that. I thought that was incredible. But moving
Mm.
that aside, this short is incredibly funny, even if you don't know who the cats are actually based off in terms of pop culture. So yeah, this goes on the list. I mean, first Tweety as well. So I mean, what do you think?
I actually was rewatching parts of this today because I got something to eat earlier today. I had lunch, and I was looking at my phone and on Instagram, and the official Looney Tune Instagram page had like a photo. Like the first thing that popped up was Tweety from this short, and it said 1942. And I know lately Warner Brothers has been pushing Tweety's 80th birthday this year, and I reposted on my Instagram page, and I said I think it's kind of refreshing and strange that Warner Brothers is acknowledging how old Tweety is, and at the same time like showing what he originally looked like. I mean, most people think of Tweety from when Freeling started using him in Tweety Pine onwards, but I've said it before in the Clampett one, and most of us agree, like in our little circle of nerds, that I'll take Clampett Tweety over Freeling Tweety any day. And this short was also one I grew up watching a lot as a kid. It was another public domain tape that I had. But now that you mentioned the whole thing with like the cartoon moving throughout the day, like the print that I was watching I mean, the cartoon's in the public domain, so you can watch it on YouTube, but it was from one of the golden collections or the platinum collections. And just the backgrounds look so, excuse me, like in the beginning, it's like, like a typical sunny. And then when it starts approaching nighttime, and like the background's like pinkish, yellowish, and looks so great, and just tons of energy in it. And also, if you don't know who Abbott and Costello are, they're both from New Jersey. But you get a kick out of those characters, and after I was rewatching it on my phone, I was thinking to myself, I was like, Babbitt, 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 I'm afraid of heights, and just having like doing imitation of of a Lou Costello or a Catstello in my car. And yeah, it's a sentimental one because it's one of the earliest shorts I remember. I actually remember the exact VHS I got it on. when I think it was, yeah, when I went to Wildwood, New Jersey. This is literally 30 years ago, 1992. It's one of the earliest memories I have. And I remember like my mom getting me like a little plush of Rocky the Flying Squirrel. And I also got this videotape when I was in that trip in Wildwood, and it was bugs in a it was a Waikiki Wabbit, and yeah, you can see bugs in the pot from Waikiki Wabbit, and that videotape had that. It had, I think, Case of the Missing Hair and A Tale of Two Kitties. And on the back of the VHS was the ending of the cartoon where the two cats, their eyes shut off and Tweety's yelling at them. So yeah, long story short, I love this short. And I just wish Tweety remained this way.
Fair enough. And moving on to one that I think is an absolute masterpiece, just period, is The Three Little Bops. I watched this one. This is one of my go-to shorts. It is so great. You have, Stan Freberg doing all these different voices and being credited amazingly. And of course, you've got trumpeter Shorty Rogers, and it's entertaining. Like, it's not laugh out loud, but it's just
Hmm.
entertaining. And sometimes that's what you need, really. I this one definitely belongs on the list, and it's one of the later masterpieces that they did, as you pointed out, 1957, and yeah, this definitely belongs to the list. I mean, what say you, Mr. Musician?
It's in my top 10. I love this short. I don't get sick of watching it. And I also love I did it once where I played Pigs in a Polka and then I played Three Little Bops back to back. I was like, so we have, music from the Romantic period, a German composer, Johannes Brahms, and then you go to American jazz from the 50s with Shorty Rogers. And I show, and obviously you go from 1943 to 1957, and just the change in animation and whatever. And then after I show it, I tell people, the same guy did these two cartoons. Like, wow. And like, you start talking about the contrast of the animation style and just the fact that you're going from German romantic music to American jazz, and just like seeing that contrast and how he took the same character, the same premise of the Big Bad Wolf and the Three Little Pigs, and made two excellent cartoons of it in the process. Absolutely love this short. Like you said, it's one of my go-tos as well. Love it.
Indeed. And the next one is Thugs with Dirty Mugs, which some have said this is amongst their favourite Tex Avery shorts. I know that Austin Kelly loves it. I know Thad Komorowski loves it. I will say it's not one of my favourite Avery shorts for whatever reason, but to also put into context, if you're watching his stuff in order, he did a few Spot Cat cartoons, then he finally went back to the more narrative stuff with this one, and then he went back to Spot Cag. So this one was like a breath of fresh air, I guess, if you're watching these in order. But this one's funny. I think it's got a lot of fourth wall breaking and all that sort of stuff. Does it belong on the list? I'd say, look, I'd put it in there. But again, is it my go-to or favorite Tex Avery? Honestly, I would probably. This is probably going to be controversial. I would probably replace Thugs with Dirty Mugs with one of the black and white Porkies he did, because I think a lot of them are funny, especially the earlier ones. That's just personal preference, especially the one that's animated by Bob Clampett, and I forgot the name of the darn cartoon off memory, but I'm sure you know the one I'm talking about. It's the one where I think it's the blowout. I think, yeah, the
The
blowout.
blowout, yeah,
I
with
put
the
that
with
in
the
here.
with the
But
the guy blowing up all over. I love the blowout, and and the Village Smithy is another one. I mean, I wouldn't say Village Smithy is better than this one, but I do love that early, Avery Porky one. Um, Thugs and Dirty Mugs. I saw rewatched it recently. Um, I do like the short a lot. It's very funny. Um, because I'm almost done with 1939 in my own personal chronological viewing. I've been doing it for 4 years now. Don't be a grown up, kids. It's overrated. Life gets in the way of watching cartoons. But when you're saying and I'm looking at the list again, I'm surprised this one's not on here. Porky's Preview should be on this list. So you're talking about Avery cartoons directed by Porky. That cartoon's freaking hilarious. It's, just the fact that they once again took the piss out of the animation process. And Porky's intro is so charming in that one. I made this one myself, because I'm an artist. That's how I feel every time I sing. Now, when it comes to cartoons in 1939 from Avery that I think are funnier than this one, there's two of that pop in my mind. One of them I saw yesterday, and I want to shout out my buddy Tommy Jose Stathis, who had a cartoon screening in New York City yesterday. So hi Tommy, follow him on Instagram at Cartoons on Film. No, he's not paying me for it. I promise. Maybe. Not doubt it. But I would put Hammock Night and A Day at the Zoo over this one, because
Yeah,
yesterday A Day at the Zoo was shown,
I agree with
and
you.
it brought the house down. It was the best received cartoon that entire day, and I love Hammock Night, and thank goodness they finally restored it. And I'm hoping, please, that A Day at the Zoo is restored, because that is a very funny cartoon. And I know that his spot gags are hit or
It
miss. Like
is.
I'm thinking, Believe It or Else, meh. Fresh Fish has its moments, but yeah, Hammock Night, and Day at the Zoo are hilarious. And this one's hilarious too. But I would put those over that, but I could see why this one gets so many accolades.
That's fair enough. Although I actually liked how you said, and this is probably why it's getting late for you, because we're actually nearly at the finish line. How you said it's a Avery short directed by Porky. So well done, well done. I
Oh,
funny.
don't cut that. Keep that in. A little side story about Porky's preview. So I was doing my master's degree during COVID. I halfway through my or nearly the end of my first year of graduate school, I did the COVID, and my master's degree was in vocal performance. Getting better at singing, and still working on that part. But I my second year, as part of the master's degree, I have to present a recital, showing off my training and singing music and all different styles of music. And I almost didn't do it. I almost went with a project, but my teacher, he pushed me, not in a bad way, but he was like, maybe you should do it anyway. So I recorded myself doing a recital it was just myself and the piano player, and that's it. Unfortunately, I couldn't do it live. And I was so tempted to the put on the video on YouTube. It's just I have the very fancy, just my name, the piano player, and then the titles of the songs that I perform. But against my better judgment, I was so close to using Porky from Porky's preview to introduce the recital, and the part where Porky, says like a cartoon drawn by Porky age 6 and 7/8. I wanted to recreate that where it says the master's voice recital of Emmanuel J. Cruz, and me writing it like I'm a 5-year-old. And I know my teacher would have gotten a kick out of that, but I doubt the other members of the faculty would have. But yeah, that one should belongs on the
Exactly.
list too.
No, I agree. I agree. For sure. Next one, I'm gonna say no. Tin Pan Alley Cats, definitely not. And here's the thing: it's actually got nothing to do with the African American stereotypes. Weirdly enough, as bad as they are, it's actually to do with the fact that it's a cheetah cartoon, and I don't think it belongs on the greatest list. With the possible exception of maybe What's Cooking Doc. That's probably the only exception I'd make. But other than that, cheetah cartoons I wouldn't put on here, and it reuses stuff from one of Freeze Feeling's older cartoons, and of course, Clampett's own Porky Wacky Land. It just feels so lazy. This one, it really does. Literally, I mean, the only redeeming factor from this one is the music in the beginning with the whole Fats Waller scene in the beginning where he's singing. But aside from that, this one's a dud. This shouldn't be on this list. I really don't think it should. I mean, like I said, thumbs down for me. What do you think?
I'm the same way. Thumbs down. I like, you said a lot of what I was going to say, but like I don't. It's not just because of the whole baggage of it being the censored 11. I mean, a part of me is happy that this book acknowledges the existence of the censored 11, and I do like how they say these cartoons have not had an official release. And I know there's a whole controversy or whether or not these should be released, and I'm not going to touch that for now. But no, doesn't belong on here at all. Of all the Central 11, the only one that you could argue deserves a lot of merit would be Coal Black and the Seven Dwarfs. And I said it in the last commentary. I personally think don't think I think it's overrated. And this one, and like I said, that's the only Century 11 short that I think deserves some sort of accolade, so to speak. Not including all the problematic material. But yeah, I don't know what they were thinking when they put this one on. I don't hate the short, but I'm like, the best word I can think of it is meh. And it's another remake of Porky and Wacky Land. I'm like, I was surprised. I'm like, this is a cheater. This is a cheater cartoon, so to speak. You want a better cheater cartoon that Clampett made? Go look at What's Cooking, Doc. As opposed to this one. So no, bad, bad choice in my opinion.
Exactly. If you got to put one in, put to What's Cooking Doc. I would replace that one with this one. But thankfully, the next Clampett one's good. Tortoise Wins by a Hair, which is my favorite of the three Tortoise and Cecil Turtle shorts. Yeah, thumbs up. This one belongs on there. It's very entertaining. Yes, it reuses the part of the Tex Avery one in the very beginning, but at least there's a good reason for it, which is Bugs being, really pissed off. But yeah, what do you think? It belongs on there? I think it does.
Absolutely. Yes, I love this short. This is one of my favorite uh I guess you what probably one of my favorite Warner Brothers shorts, definitely one of my favorite Clampets. The best of the Cecil Turtle trilogy. Saw this one quite often as a kid. And I know, depending on who you ask, Porky, not Porky. What am I thinking of? Porky. See, now I'm thinking of a Porky cartoon starring Bugs Bunny. No, um, that some people aren't the biggest fan of Clampett's take on Bugs. How he was a loser and he was an instigator, but it works here. And man, some of the like I'm thinking of the part where he's watching the film from Tortoise Beats Hair, and I love the scene where he's flipping out. He says, I'm going to get him. It's the last thing I do. How it goes from Rob Scribner animation and right into Bob McKimson animation. And I will too. Just how abrupt that change is, but it's done so beautifully. How it goes from Scribner to McKimson. And just, I love seeing the contrast of all those different animators in the Clampett unit at the time. And it's freaking hilarious. And the the gangster rabbits always crack me up. The yeah, boss. There's the no, boss, no. And
No,
Bugs'
but
flip out at the
no.
end when he's you fools, I'm the rabbit. I'm like, Mel Blanc, I wish we had video of you doing this.
Exactly right. But nearing the finish line, Tree for Two, I actually say yes. I saw this one constantly as a kid, and it's got a nice simple idea. Yes, you see this idea constantly with McKimson with the hippity hopper, shorts and Sylvester Jr. and that. But I like it here. You got the two dogs where they're after Sylvester, but of course every time the big dog goes after Sylvester, the Black Panther keeps on. Doing what panthers would do, and then when the little dog goes in, he just sees Sylvester. That's it. I think this is a great show. I can't wait to cover it on the channel in a review. It's a great short. Thumbs up. It belongs on there. What do you think?
I haven't seen it in a while, but I did see this one often as a kid, and I do like the dynamic of Spike and Chester. And yeah, it's a very good short. Um, Again, it's been a long time since I've seen it, but I've never had a negative experience with it. And hey, down the road when you get to it, I wouldn't mind rewatching this and doing this for a commentary. And I always get a kick of shut up. How excited Chester gets, and it's like shut up. Definitely a really funny short.
Exactly. Exactly. So we're nearly there. We're on the W's now, and on to Wabbit Wobble. There's no arguing here. Fat Elmo, Big Chungus, well, of course, he's in this one. And I still believe that this was started by Tex Avery in some form, but yeah, this one's definitely on there. Thumbs up. So over to you, Manny. Yes, belongs on there. Yay, nay.
I only got two words to say. Big Chungus. No, I mean, this is one of my favorite I love this short. It's so funny. I God, I love this short so much. I love the music in the beginning. Says you, says who, says I in the ba-da, 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 ba-da-da-da. I love that song in this cartoon. The opening credits with in Fudd-ese or Fuddish. I don't know what you would call Elmer Fudd's language. So many quotable lines. The there's I don't know where that. Well, it's obviously Craig Brown thought of it, but the scene where Elmer and the bear are behind the tree. Brum, 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 bum, bum, bum. And there's that particular horn sound effect that the only other time I could think of it is in All This in Rabbit Stew. You hear the same sound when Bugs and the hunter and the bear look at each other and go, wah, and that specific horn sound effect. And I love that sound so much. And I wish these are the only two cartoons I think that ever use that sound. And it's so funny. And
Mm.
you could definitely tell it's like it started with Avery, ended with Clampett. Um, and I actually showed this one when I teach. I showed the cartoon before, and of course, my students just kept yelling, Big Chungus!" And then I told them, "This is where Big Chungus came from, and this cartoon is 81 years old." And they're like, "Oh!" I'm like, "Yep, Big Chungus is a lot older than you think it is."
Hmm.
And that's all. That's all you need to say about this
Exactly
cartoon.
right.
Big Chungus. That's
You're
it.
not
Big
wrong
Chungus.
there. Exactly.
Nothing else.
See, walkie talkie hawkie. I mean, we got Foghorn here, which is it's great. The only thing about putting walkie talkie hawkie, as great as a cartoon as it is, actually, I recently redid that one from a commentary to a review, so that was fun. But I would probably substitute it for Henhouse Henry, and the only reason is because walkie talkie hawkie, the foghorn is not quite like he's just that little bit off versus Henhouse Henry, where he's basically singing Camptown Races. So, and I
Yeah.
think the storyline is a little bit more solid in that one. But with that said, am I angry, about Walkie Talkie Hawkie being on here? No, it's fine. So, yeah, thumbs up. But I would substitute it for one of the ones where Foghorn was more solidified as a character. I mean, what do you think?
I love this short. I love the early Foghorn shorts. I know I'm thinking of my father in particular. He loves Foghorn Leghorn. Yeah, the same thing. My only knock is that the Foghorn voice isn't quite there. And if you want to go with an early Foghorn, yeah, Henhouse Henry is definitely one of them. But I love the Foghorn Leghorn because of the whole loudmouth schnook stuff, and I love that short in particular. And another one too that I really meh. Actually, I'm thinking about it now, but actually, let me see if it's on the list. Let me double check real quick. But Crowing Pains is another one that I do enjoy from early Foghorn. I don't know if it's better than Walkie Talkie Hockey, but I would substitute the Foghorn Leghorn with this one. But this is a pretty solid choice. It was a great start for McKimson's career as an Oscar nominee that
Yeah,
year, and a great start for Foghorn Leghorn, and just a brilliant use of him adapting Henry Hawk from Chuck Jones, and I like the Barnyard Dog. I've always gotten a kick out of that character.
yeah, indeed. And next one, nothing of importance. Let's see if I can
Skip.
read it. What's Doc? Opera. Oh, no. No, I don't know why they put such a very obscure cartoon in here. You might as well put a Buddy short instead. No. What's
Buddy's
Opera Doc? Yeah,
Bearcats.
of course it belongs in there. It's yes, Buddy's Bearcats needs to be on there. But no. What's Opera Doc? Classic, masterpiece, one of Chuck Jones's best, and one of the Warner Brothers' best. Period. And I don't care if anyone says it's overrated because, well, it is a masterpiece. So yeah, what do you think? Yay.
Ah, I'm thinking of the people that say it's overrated, and I guess this is kind of like my feelings with One Froggy Evening in particular from that late '50s vibe. This is my favorite Warner Brothers short. I love this short so much, and it's like weird. Like this short's not even. It's funny, but it's not like we just talked about Wabbit Twubble, and Wabbit Twubble's freaking hilarious. But I love the artistry of this one. I guess this appeals to my classical musician opera side. It's a beautiful short, beautifully animated, drawn. The music, just listening to the Tannhäuser overture from Wagner in this one, just gets me all the time. And still to this day, like I still get a little teary eyed at the very end. It's a masterpiece. Yeah, it was voted the greatest theatrical short of all time, and I know some people think it's a controversial idea, but I love the short. It's my favorite Warner Brothers cartoons. I don't know what else to say. I love this short masterpiece.
Indeed. Next one is Holy Smoke. So the last Tashlin on this list. It's a solid cartoon, but I would substitute it for either Case of Stuttering Pig or Porky's Double Trouble. Those would be my picks to replace Holy Smoke, which is funny and it has that wonderful sequence in the beginning about boys, shouldn't smoke and all that. But I still think, yeah, it should be substituted for Stuttering Pig or Double Trouble. With that said, is it bad that's on this list? No, I'd probably put it like this. Like, I don't know, but anyway, what do you think?
I like this short a lot. I saw this one on Nick, and then I saw it, pretty often on Cartoon Network. I've always had a strange fascination with it because it's definitely a creepy short, especially when Porky has a whole dream sequence after he meets Nick O'Teen. I love the beginning with the Porky and the Bully and the sequence where you hear the merry-go-round broke down in a minor key done by like low brass and low woodwinds, I believe, with the dog doing all the tricks. And then when Porky does it, where you hear it done in its major key and you hear like flutes playing it and Porky's messing up on all the smoke tricks. I love that scene. And there's some really like let me see if this one's on the list. I don't think it is, but I know when I was younger, it kind of not freaked me out, but it was kind of creepy. The whole huge eyes that Tashlin had during this period. I'm thinking of Holy Smoke. I'm thinking of Now That Summer Is Gone, where it's like the way that he designed certain characters, or a little Pancho Vanilla as well, where these characters, their eyes are so freaking huge and they look kind of creepy in some ways. But I guess there's a fascination with that now that makes me like there's a part where just before Porky is challenged by the bully, you see hit like a shot from like a low shot, a perspective shot where you see Porky, and I'm like, ooh, it's kind of weird that Tashlin, but it also makes Tashlin so excellent and so cool how he was playing around with all these different perspectives and different filmmaking techniques in these shorts. It belongs on the list. I definitely do like it, but I 100% agree. I would put Case of the Stuttering Pig over this one. But it's definitely not a bad short. I do enjoy this one a lot.
Yeah,
And I do like the
of
mysterious
course.
Moe's in this one with Little Boy Shouldn't Smoke. Great song. So great cartoon.
Now the next one, I don't know why they're putting another obscure one. A Wild Hare, very obscure. No, it's the first appearance of Bugs Bunny, of course, in its arguably proper form, I should say. Uh, but the good thing is, though, that even if you put that aside, the short itself is really solid and funny. So even if Bugs Bunny never took off as a character, this short works as it is, which is fantastic. And what else is there to say? Well, it belongs on there. At least historically, yes, and also entertaining. It's definitely one of the best Looney Tunes short, and it's very memorable too. So, yeah, what do you think?
Um, you mean Porky's Hare Hunt? Definitely belongs on this one over a wild time. No. Oh, the prototypical oh god, if I hear another person say happy rabbit, I'll pull my hair out, but it's already too late for that. I'll pull out my beard. Um yeah, it was just everything clicking together at that time period. Avery and the work. It's interesting because, like, for years I always would say that Porky's Hare Hunt was the first Bugs Bunny cartoon. But then when you start thinking about all the influences and the fact that the character was named Bugs Bunny as early as 1939, I think during the production of Harem Scarum from Hardaway and Dalton, your favorite directing team. But it's just like it's so cool to see that
Mm.
this was the moment where all it's like I think of it this way, it's like you're making a cake or a pie or whatever it is, and the first four times you have the ingredients, you have the eggs and the sugar and whatever you need, but the cake isn't just quite right yet. And on the fifth try, this is where it finally works. And just everything coming together. Arthur Q. Bryan as or Elmer, because Arthur Q. Bryan did do Elmer's voice in Elmer's Candid Camera, but the hunter aspect. Bugs' New York accent finally coming to fruition. What's up? What's Opera Doc? Wrong cartoon. What's up, Doc? Finally being used for the first time, and definitely with the historical significance. I mean, that year in general, 1940, the birth of Tom and Jerry, the birth of Bugs Bunny, the birth of Woody Woodpecker, Pinocchio, and Fantasia coming out. It's like definitely one of the most significant years in animation history, and this one definitely plays a huge part of it. Is it my favorite? I mean, I do love the short. Is it my favorite early Bugs cartoon? Mm, or like even thinking of the ones that Avery did. I do like Tortoise Beats Hair a lot. The heckling hair has its moments, but never mind. This is a great short, and obviously for the historical significance and solid choice. Although I would still put Porky's Hare Hunt over. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Of course. And lucky last. Whew, you ought to be in pictures, which, yes, it belongs on there. It's such a charming short. Yes, it's unique in terms of its technology wise, where it's got, of course, the live action with cartoon, and you can see how the studio looked at the time, which is always a fascinating thing. But it's also, yeah, entertaining. It's also funny. Yeah, you got a little bit of the greedy Daffy in there, but it's an actual decent version compared to what Frizz will do with him later on. But yeah, belongs on the list. One of the best cartoons ever made. What do you think?
I love this short. Great short. Again, you'll never see me get tired of Porky and Daffy as a team. It was interesting to see that they were already, everybody thinks of the greedy Daffy with Jones, but when you think about it in reality, it was Freeling that planted the seeds of this character. Yeah, I love seeing the Schlesinger studio in real life, seeing some of the people who worked at the studio. Oh, excuse me. I think Daffy's trying to take my gig now, recording with you. He's making me sneeze. But $3,000 a week or nine.
Yeah.
You know what? Was it three? Didn't he say was it 3,000 or 9 grand a week? Now I got to look this up. Inflation. I know he definitely said 3,000 a week. But yeah, I wish we had more shorts like that where you could see, kind of like the behind the scenes. I can't talk tonight. What's going on with me? Behind the scenes of the Schlesinger studio. And I like the scene of Daffy singing. I always get a kick out of that one. And it was what a great way for because you have like people who talk about Freeling's output when he started as a director in the mid 30s until the point where he left. A Star is Hatched. If I remember, that was the last short that he made before he went to MGM to do the Captain and the Kids cartoons. But this is not. Was this the first short that he did when he came back? I'm not 100% sure. I don't know if it was the first one that. No, I think might possibly
Third.
Confederate Honey might have came third. Okay, yeah. I think it was Confederate Honey, and there was something else that came before it. And I remember hearing somewhere, might have been from one of your commentaries or somewhere else, that Confederate Honey was originally supposed to be a Hardaway and Dalton short that Freeling finished up. But but yeah, I love this short. Great. Definitely one of the best the studio ever made. Oh, and it took forever, but $3,000 a week in 1940 in today's inflation, $60,000 a week. That's $240,000 a month.
Mm.
Let's see. Because my math is terrible. 240,000 times 12 months. That's almost $3 million a year. I'll take it. I'm not complaining.
I'll take it too. So everyone's job here is to promote this channel so I can start making the big bucks, yeah?
Yeah.
But anyway, we've done it.
We did it.
All 100. All 100.
Woo!
We did it. Hooray, finally. Now, I must stress once again that a lot of what we've discussed, it is subjective. No one's list of top 100 Looney Tunes shorts will ever match this book. It'll never match my opinions will never match Manny's appearance.
Appearance.
But at the end of the day,
Yeah.
yeah.
You said appearance. I'm not the only one
I
who's
didn't want to
getting
correct
messed up.
myself.
I mean, I have a pretty scary appearance, so I see what you did there. What is it like? What time
Exactly
is it over
right.
for
But we'll
you?
finish up here. 1:15.
1 p.m. It is. Yeah, it's 10:15 at night here. So you have no excuses. Go drink some coffee. A cup of coffee. Was it a I love
I'll drink
coffee,
some
I love
Pepsi
tea?
Max.
Ooh, very nice. Sponsored by Pepsi Max.
Exactly. All right. We'll wrap it up here. But yeah, let us know what your top 100 is, or even top 10, for that matter. Do you agree with some of our choices or not, or whatever? But and apologies for that minor delay between us talking at some of the
Hmm.
points. I don't know what happened with the technology here, but hey, it's still better than nothing because no one will pay for me a plane ticket to actually go to New Jersey, even if it's just economy. So, what
Or
can
me to
we do?
Australia.
Yeah, we could do that. We
Yeah.
could do that. But I think that's it, guys. Thanks so much for watching, and until next time, take care.
That's all, folks.